Hey, John.
Hey Tom, how are you?
I'm not bad. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, you can. My sound's
Yeah,
okay, my audio.
I'm good. What is that Maradona punching the ball against Peter Shilton I see behind you?
It is indeed, yes. The hand of God, of course. I was obviously it was against England as a Scotsman, and I was actually in the Azteca in 2018 because Scotland went there on a pre-season tour.
Okay.
Basically, it's a place that has a kind of not a special place in my heart, but you know what I mean. Like it's an iconic
Oh,
moment, isn't
like
it?
it's possibly it's one of the photographs of top five, maybe top one photographs in footballing history.
Yeah.
Um, the Azteca. So you were there to watch a match, or did you do a tour, or a bit of both?
No, I was watching a match. So, 2018, of course, was the World Cup in Russia. Scotland didn't make it as usual, but we were kind of in the cannon fodder for Mexico, as they said farewell to go to Russia 2018.
Okay,
And the
gotcha.
Scottish FA had agreed to do two tours, one in Peru and one in Mexico. So,
Okay.
me and four others went off to Mexico, Cancun for the week, and then we flew over to Mexico City for the day. Went to the Azteca. There was only 418 Scotland fans in this 100,000 seater. But it was
Some of
a
them may
pretty
have been living over in Mexico as well. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
well, yeah. But I mean, when we got off the plane in Mexico City with our kilts on, I think these guys had only ever seen people with kilts on in Braveheart. So we were getting stopped, honestly, for 45 minutes before the game. We were getting stopped to get people taking pictures with us and stuff like all the Mexican fans. It was a really fun experience.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. I mean, I've actually been to the Azteca myself,
Oh wow,
but
cool.
a long time. So we had Mexico '86.
Yeah.
You were there in 2018. I was sort of in between the two because I was there in 2007, I will say. But I just went there for a tour of the stadium. I was just in Mexico for a few weeks, actually, I was in Latin America for about 18 months, but in Mexico City itself for a few days. And went for. But there was some memories. The thing was, inside the stadium, it didn't really look like anything I remember. But outside, actually, the sort of concretey look that I remember,
Yeah.
because I'm old enough to remember that World Cup. Listen, we should switch to the tennis.
Yeah.
I can see the first ball, at least on my screen, is about to be hit. But knowing your stream and where it's coming from, you may well be ahead of me.
No, I'm the same as you. Alcaraz serving first,
Yeah.
and he's just up to the baseline now, taking it all in and getting ready to fire up. So
So
yes,
I'm probably slightly ahead of you then, because I've just seen Alcaraz doing Alcaraz things. I'll just give you a couple of thoughts from me, sort of immediate thoughts perhaps on some of the tennis that we've already seen, and
mhm.
it's just basically I'm kind of shocked at the Pegula result. I was all over Peyton Stearns Vondrousova, so I didn't get to see it, but that Pegula result and the manner of it. I mean, listen, you can lose to Madison Keys in 3 tight sets, absolutely. But with Pegula, I don't know, she just looked really crestfallen at the end. And I think there was 15 unforced errors off her racket, but perhaps the most damning statistic was actually just 5 winners from
Yeah.
Pegula over those 2 sets. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't get that one at all. I went for Pegula to make the quarters with ease, but there we go. Tennis,
Well,
hey?
it's that's it. It's hey, and just to say, hey Jake, hey Max, hey Ghost. Good to have you with us as usual. Yeah, no, listen, I didn't see too much of it. I was rushing back from work and getting myself ready for this one. But
Sure.
as you and I discussed earlier in the day, I think we thought that Alcaraz wouldn't be coming out until at least 7 p.m. UK
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
when I saw the first set result, at 6-1, I was just like, what's going on there? Then that jumped on and saw a bit of it when it was 2-1 to Pegula in the second. And I thought, this will be how she's maybe just had a slow start, maybe not warmed up properly or something. There'll be something going on. But as, Pegula is known to do, she likes 3 setters. And, I still thought at that point she would have come through it. She's been in good form, of course, the win just before the US Open, the Masters 1000. So, yeah, it's a shock one. But I think, going back to the weekend, the story so far, I think, of the whole tournament is obviously that Ostapenko win last night.
Yeah.
And it's really opened it up. And I was going to ask the guys tonight, the guys who were joining us, if who their current favourite is for this title now. You know, are people sticking with Goff? Is it Sabalenka? Is it Ostapenko? Pegula's now out. So it's just it's wide open, but it's really, really enthralling, I think, you know, in terms of the women's side of the thing. And then the ATP side, you know, the men's, you know, are we just watching this procession that everyone's expecting? You know, the two guys making their way to the final. They've not really had, other than, you know, Djokovic. I did watch that one Friday night.
Okay.
Up 3-4 in the morning.
Well, the 5-setter. You're one of the 12 people in Western Europe who did see it.
Well, I'll tell you what happened is I looked at my phone and saw that Jared was a breakup in the first. So I then put it on, and then I saw when he was on in the second, and I thought this will get interesting. But to be honest with you, as soon as that long toilet break was taken, and he didn't really show for the third set, I watched the third set and I watched the fourth set, and I thought this one's done. And it was 4 in the morning. I thought I've got a long day tomorrow, so I'm gonna call it. So yeah, that's probably been the kind of biggest spanner in his work so far, but he's continued a 3-setter in the last round as well. So yeah, really interesting championships. I've not caught as much as I've really probably hoped this last weekend.
It's always tricky. I mean, you've got a job, you've got a family, and you've got to sleep as well. Yeah. So I know it can be tricky. If you're going to catch anything, you're going to catch these sort of afternoon matches or lunchtime matches as they are in New York. I'm going to leave you in a second, but before I do, have you seen much or any of Alcaraz in this tournament?
Well, no, again, that's what I was going to bring tonight and say, you know, the guys can let me know how he's been playing, because, you know, his matches have always been the night matches, and that's always, you know, early doors in the UK. So I've not caught any of it, really. I've caught highlights of the Dan Evans win. I saw somebody on Twitter saying that Danny Evans had made like one unforced error in the last 2 sets or something stupid like that, and he still couldn't win. I don't think it was maybe one. It was probably obviously a wee bit more than that, but there was some stupid stat that like Danny Evans actually was playing a really, really good tennis match and still was struggling to get close to Alcaraz. So it just shows you, I think, you know, I think he is in form. I think this one will, I mean, I don't want to call it early, but, you know, do you see him having much difficulty in this one here against Arnaldi?
No, I don't. And I think it's been, for both players, I think it's been quite a nice first 7-8 days of the tournament. I say both. I'm obviously referring to Novak and Carlos, as I see Carlos pull the trigger with a lovely forehand winner. The leg strapping he's wearing tonight does seem to be more prominent. I highlighted it on a stream a couple of days ago, I think during the Evans match actually, that you could just see it. You could just see it underneath the short, but it seems to be a little bit further down the leg this time. And I don't want to cause too much alarm, but it's certainly something to pay attention to. I would say that both the thing when it gets interesting we've looked at the draw from the minute it was sort of came out, and it's like, Novak is a winner here and Carlos is a slight loser. But it's all about quarters really for Alcaraz, which is why we sort of went. I mean, maybe the first round for Carlos theoretically was a little bit trickier than Novak's as well, albeit that Kupfer retired injured. But it was all about the potential meeting with either Sinner or Zverev. That's what was suddenly like, okay, because you put those two on Novak's half and you're going into a quarterfinal for Novak going, you know what? You know, we've seen him, you know, with Zverev at peak, you know, pushing Novak in Australia and in the US in the past. I know that the Sinner-Novak combo tends to, that's a lovely forehand winner from Arnaldi. We know how the Sinner-Novak thing normally pans out for Novak. However, I do think this is a little bit more Sinner's domain than pretty much anywhere else on the planet. This is where Sinner comes alive in New York. So I do think that was the thing that made it slightly tricky. So I don't want to sound too complacent because he's still got to win this match tonight, but it is probably all about that quarterfinal. And I think either Zverev or Sinner is capable of knocking Alcaraz out. I don't have the same optimism regarding Fritz or Shelton or anybody else on the men's side on the other side for Djokovic. Okay.
Djokovic loves that. I mean, if it is going to be Fritz, Djokovic loves that matchup, doesn't he? In terms of Taylor Fritz. So I'm not too sure. I doubt he's ever met Ben Shelton, has he? I mean, I don't think he'll have any problems. But
no, that's an interesting one for him.
Yeah, it's an interesting because he's got a lot of power. But I mean, that's usually what he what Novak has just been so legendary with is like, the power hitters is taking that weapon away from them by his defense, and then, returning it back with a little bit more kind of attitude on it. You know what I mean? So, I think he'll take either one of those. But yeah, I'll focus on this one, and
I'll be around, so I'll hear you. So if you just say we're going to take a short break, then I'll be around and I'll put a video on. The other thing I will say as well is if I do dash out to get something to eat, for example, I'll let you know in the chat. And I'm going to leave you, and you've got a question.
Okay, Ghost. Oh, I can't believe you're calling. Is that a question? That's not a question? That's a statement from Ghost there.
It's a sort of a question. Sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no, I get it. And, I think John gave me the options. And I think probably selfishly, Ghost, when John said, which one do you want to cover? I hadn't seen any of Alcaraz so far this event. So I think for me, from watching Carlos Alcaraz, it's probably one of the most box office tickets, isn't it, in tennis at the moment, as he just double faults on his first service of his second service game. I get it. I do like Draper. I have no qualms of him, eventually replacing, potentially, taking that Grand Slam record. I think this guy Draper's got the ability. If he can stay injury free, he could one day win a Grand Slam, in my opinion. And I have no adversion to that, because I do like the guy. I think the way he goes about things, and possibly, not going to promise you anything, Ghost, but if Alcaraz can get this job done fairly quickly, I'll maybe go and call maybe 10-20 minutes of that one as well, because that one has the potential to go a little bit longer, doesn't it? So let's try and do both. If this was on Prime, I would potentially try and have both streams up at the same time. But no, we'll focus on Carlos, and you guys can keep us updated with what is going on with Draper Rublev. But yeah, no, I think it's a fascinating one as well. So yeah, let us know. In terms of Oppenheimer, I haven't seen it, but it was a film that I went to go and see, but I don't really get to the cinema much because, as I say, a bit of a young family, Ghost on the go at the moment. So yeah, I'll skip past the other part of the Oppenheimer stuff, and we'll focus on the tennis. So Carlos, as you can see, 30 all at the moment. Anyone got anything different to what John and I were just talking about in terms of, is there any problems at all that Carlos Alcaraz can face in this one? Do you see Arnaldi causing any problems? As well, I've just caught up the 30 all point, and it was a lovely floated drop shot. So yeah, let's focus on this. Carlos, are you guys watching it? As I said to you guys previously on a previous stream, is there people here who literally can't get close to a stream? They can't get close to a television. They'll need me to call it point by point because they want to know what's happening. Or are you guys happy to kind of chat other topics, as we tend to do here on Talking Tennis sometimes? And yeah, you can let me know if you guys are, if there's anyone out there who really needs to be given blow by blow, point by point. As you can see, Alcaraz has just gone 2-1 in front. So let's go through a couple of points about this match. I was just doing a wee bit of research, as I do, about this match. These two have never met before. Of course, both very young men. Matteo Arnaldi, 22 years old, and he is, he's basically looking to number 61 in the world at the moment, so he's a career high. So yeah, good player, isn't he? He's certainly forging, going under the radar a little bit. Nobody really speaks about Arnaldi. Jake agrees. I think Jake's saying that Alcaraz should have no problem at all doing that. Anyone, Alcaraz fans, any Alcaraz fans out there, are you guys, concerned about the strapping on his thigh? Is this a worry in terms of going forward in the tournament, in the event? So yeah, let us know what you guys thought. The guys are taking a quick break at the changeover. What else have I got? The youngest men's number 1 seed in the history of the tournament, Alcaraz is. I think you guys knew that. and he's appearing in the 4th round for the 3rd straight year. And yeah, he's aiming to qualify for the US Open quarterfinal for the 3rd time in as many appearances. And he will trying to become the youngest player to reach 3 US Open quarterfinals in the Open area. And only players beside Agassi to do so before turning 21 since 1968. So Agassi did it in 88 to 90. So Alcaraz aiming to be the youngest man to reach 3 US Open quarterfinals in the Open era. What about Arnaldi? He's one of 2 Italians, of course, in the 4th round. He has held serve 41 of 46 games so far in this event. Okay, that's a pretty impressive record, but Alcaraz does have the weapons to, break his serve. 41 out of 46 games, that's 89%, nearly 90% of his service games he's won. He's saved 9 of 14 break points, Arnaldi. He likes a good big serve, clutch serve in there when the danger is on. And he's converted 11 of his 19 break points, which is 58%. He came to the Flushing Meadows last year as it ranked 187, and he lost in the final round of qualifying to Daniel Galan, who of course went on to beat Tsitsipas pretty comprehensively last year. As Alcaraz tries to go round the net with a running forehand, he caught the net post. As you can see, Jack Draper and Rublev are tied at 1 game apiece. Okay, John's running a poll, and so far, what is stopping Djokovic reaching the final? Yeah, his path is fairly cleaning up at the moment. Of course, a pretty dream draw for Djokovic, avoiding Medvedev, who could probably cause him a problem. Has beaten him here on Ash before, of course, that final 2 years ago. But he avoided all the kind of main hurdles. Anyone else watch that Laszlo Djere match? What was going on in the first 2 sets? What happened there? Did Djere just run out of steam? Where were you happy that Djokovic came back so that we still have this potential of a final between the two? What's your thoughts on that, guys? As I've said to you before, I'm quite happy to chat all things tennis and sometimes others. So just you guys keep the chat going, we will see. Jake has made a good point. He's got a feeling that Arnaldi may have to serve and volley more than his last match. Otherwise, from the baseline, he may just get overpowered too comfortably. Yep, that may well be an issue. I think players who tend to serve and volley do have some success against Alcaraz sometimes. But I mean, what I've been really impressed by Alcaraz is, for such a young guy, his problem-solving ability in terms of the tactics that his opponent's employing. He basically starts to kind of change it around, switch it around. That was clearly evident in the Wimbledon final. He was working out the Djokovic rhythm, the momentum, and he was figuring out ways to earn points. I think I don't see him having much problems. What did you think about him in Alcaraz? That is in the that's a lovely forehand. Did he make that? Arnaldi's made that. He's playing well here, and he's not been overawed by the event, the experience on Ash against the world number 1 or is it the world number 2 now, is he? Because Djokovic will be taking that accolade at the end of this event, no matter what happens. Where's he been so far in this event? Arnaldi, he has, let me pull. I'm just going to try and pull some details about his run so far. Yeah, so of course he's beaten Cam Norrie. That was a fairly straightforward taking of that. He has taken out Arthur Fields. Yeah, there's a few people who, after his taking out of Talon Griegspoor, they maybe thought the young Frenchman was going to have his breakout moment at this event, but Arnaldi took in a pretty epic 5-setter, 7-5 in the 5th. And of course, he beat Jason Kubler, who retired early doors in the first round. But he has he's standing up to Alcaraz so far here. I'll just take you through the next couple of points because I'm conscious that there may be some people watching and listening who basically want to know exactly what is going on. What's this? It says it's only corrupting because the English didn't want to be seen in public with men who wear little dresses. Let's see if that gets Tom's attention. I love my kilt. And always true Scotsman, funnily enough, Ghost. Always. So Alcaraz, I think he's just loaded up a second serve. Nice return by Arnaldi. A forehand down the court. I think Arnaldi was on the run. Got to be honest, I've not seen too much of the young Italian over this event, but otherwise in his career, so I'm not really, what are his weapons? You tell me, what are the weapons? What makes him, verging on a top 50 player? Second serve, I've not really seen Alcaraz, that looked out to me, but it wasn't. So he is a block return that goes long by Matteo Arnaldi, and it's game point for Alcaraz. What do you think of the Alcaraz outfit in terms of, the sleeveless? Is that something you'd like more players to do? I don't know. I think it's pretty decent. I know he likes that, the freedom of playing in such a thing when it has been worn, let's be honest. Second serve, Alcaraz forehand from the just go to the ad, and Arnaldi tries to go again. Pretty ambitious by Arnaldi. He was on the run, he was on the stretch, he tried to nail a forehand down the line, pushed it long, sorry. He is 22 and a righty. Have you seen much of him this event, Ghost? Have you watched any of his matches? Did you watch Cam Norrie at all? The Cam Norrie or the Arthur Feast? Is it Feast? Feast? Feast, I'll go with. Shock of the day so far, of course, coming in the first match, 17th seed, Madison Keys taking out Jess Pegula. I know Ghost has varying opinions on Jess Pegula. Sad to see Jess exit the tournament, Ghost. We've of course got Sabalenka, the new women's world number one. Sabalenka, after Iga Swiatek lost overnight to Yelena Ostapenko. Sabalenka, is she your new favourite for the event? Or is it Coco Gauff? John's letting us know, did he get beat today? Putting in the shade. Oh no, it was a 5-set win. Lovely stuff. Good cardio by John. Showing his fitness there. Seeing it out in that fifth set to side a 6-3. So yeah, good on you, John. I think that's a few victories you've won. I think that's maybe 3 in a row. I might be right in saying. I like to keep updated with John's tennis progression. John's winning. Is Alcaraz going to win this one? That Sinner Zverev match, that looks pretty tasty. Is anyone staying up for that one? Or, watching it in your normal time zone, I suppose? I think, Ostapenko, is that much of a shock? I mean, we all knew about her record against Jess Swiatek going into it. I think, 3-0 pre last night. I think there was a few people calling that, saying that would be Swiatek, a big test for Swiatek. And it seems to be like, there's been a lot of reaction on social media. What does Iga Swiatek? Does she need to go back to the drawing board? It seemed like not too long ago she was miles ahead of, between first and second place. And now she's lost that world number one. Sabalenka, of course, first time being the world number one. She'll always have that on her CV. What does this mean for Swiatek? What do you think of her year? Oh, Arnaldi, Love 15, has a block return by Alcaraz. And it's the first opportunity. Ben Stiller Ben Stiller transferring his love of Nadal to Alcaraz. I assume he's looking pretty tense as Alcaraz has his first sniff of a chance. Love 30. Let's look into this point a little bit more. First serve, Alcaraz, strong return forehand. He's on the run though. It's been a good +1 by Arnaldi. Tries a drop shot. Alcaraz makes it, and Arnaldi goes long with as attempted lob. 3 break points for Alcaraz, making the move fairly early. This match has been playing at a pretty frantic pace. 5 games down already. But 3 break points for Alcaraz. And yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think even Ostapenko, was pretty bullish in her post-match press conference. Good for ace there by Arnaldi. Of course, I did mention he's got a pretty decent record in terms of break points at this event. So that I should have had this cracked. What did I say earlier on? Okay, so Arnaldi, he's just saved another one. So in this event, he has saved 9 of the 14 break points that he has faced, and he's held serve 41 out of 46 service games. So yeah, what he just saved 2 here. Alcaraz sniffing out the first chances of the match. Another first serve. We talked about the clutch serving from Arnaldi. We're into a rally. He hits the net cord. Alcaraz comes into the net, puts away an easy forehand down the line, fist pumps to his box. He makes the breakthrough. 4-2 Alcaraz. He'll be serving for a 5-2 lead in this first set. Alcaraz, hasn't had to do anything spectacular there. A couple of unforced errors from the young Italian. Where is his ceiling, Arnaldi? I told you, I don't know too much about him, if I'm being completely honest. I haven't watched too much of his previous matches on tour. He defeated, I'm just having a look here. He made his Grand Slam tournament main draw debut at Roland Garros in May. The French Open in May was his Grand Slam debut, and he lost to Denis Shapovalov, and then qualified for Wimbledon, losing to Carballes Buena. Of course, Carballes Buena, who took out Casper Ruud early door second round. Alcaraz, lovely. That was really special stuff there. I was saying he hadn't done too much special there. A pretty decent attempt at a lob from Arnaldi. Some in the crowd, I think that'll probably be a US sports star. You guys can tell me who it was. But a good, decent attempted lob, but a stretched backhand volley smash. Well, not really a smash, a stretched backhand volley by Alcaraz, and he just got the timing on it spot on. That's one of the hardest shots to play. He was on the run in the opposite direction. But as with most things that Alcaraz does, he had the Midas touch. Nice one, Carlos. 15-love. First serve. Tries to go down the tee, puts away a forehand. He's now feeling his feet in this match. He's pulling out the forehand weapon that we all know he has. So what's Matthew? How you doing, Matthew? Didn't see sneaking into this chat. So Matthew, apparently the roof is on for the heat, but because there was rain earlier, if the rain can elevate the excessive heat on the players, they should use it. Yeah, so I missed this coming on to it. The Ashes getting played. This match is getting played under the roof, is it? It's hard to tell sometimes when you maybe don't have the sound on, as I don't. Really strong return there by Arnaldi. 30-love down. It was a second serve to Alcaraz, well shot. It wasn't really anything. Really, it wasn't really a kicker serve or anything. Nicely put away by backhand down the line by Arnaldi. So he's got some weapons from here. I'm seeing that he likes to step up on the second serve. That'll be something he's watched out for Alcaraz, who doesn't, potentially have the most, powersome second serve, shall we say. A good strong first serve, though, makes it an unreturnable, returns it wide. 40-15, 2 points, 2 game points for a 5-2 lead early break. I think Ghost was mentioning, so Iga had 15 unforced errors against Savo, and in a match he won handily straight set. By comparison, Iga had for 18 against Penko, and not a huge drop off. Penko just hit winners and shook Eva. So Ghost, in your opinion then, Iga Swiatek, does she go away and she work on, is it true that Iga Swiatek doesn't like people taking, people with big weapons, big ground strokes, taking time away from her? It is true that Iga Swiatek likes to have a bit of time. Tell me, was there a bit of a cold handshake at the end of that one? As Alcaraz, good drop shot. You know, I've seen that so many times with Alcaraz. He's pushing Arnaldi back, and then he drop shot, a lob goes long. What we're looking at here from John, so Owen, you know, friend of the Talking Tennis channel. A lot of people, me included, didn't really talk about Vondrousova after she won Wimbledon because Jabeur felt like the bigger story. If she wins this tournament or even gets remotely close, everyone in tennis should be talking about her. I agree. I mean, I think some of the things that I've listened to in the past, you know, they've tried their best maybe not to be too disrespectful to Vondrousova. But many, I mean, more than one, like, you know, content, shall we say, have been saying, you know, Vondrousova just isn't a Grand Slam winner. You know, she just has to beat who is put in front of her. And, you know, in that, I watched her last 3 matches. Vondrousova, of course, she took out Pegula and Svitolina in the semis, and then of course Ons Jabeur, who everyone was just, you know, praying to watch. I think she went a little bit under the radar, but I thought it was a nice story, you know. And yeah, so I agree. I mean, I was reading somewhere that she was she looking injured in that match in the third set. I know she ended up taking it fairly comfortably, but somebody was saying Vondrousova was maybe injured. So is there a potential shoulder issue with Vondrousova? For me, I think Coco Gauff is looking the strongest here. And I'd be interested to see, you know, Gauff Sabalenka and see where that one goes. But yeah, fair enough. It'd be hard to write off Yelena Ostapenko. However, you know, she could be hot and cold. She can you know, play Blastika Swiatek off the court, and then the next round, you know, lose, you know, just basically be doing unforced errors left, right, and centre. And of course, I think we've all seen the video of her attempting a smash in a previous round. Somebody saying it's one of the worst attempted smashes of the whole event. So who knows with Ostapenko? But of course, she is a Grand Slam champion of previous years. So Arnaldi 7-15 love up. Something's going on, I think, with crowd or just taking a moment. Alcaraz waiting for this first serve, tries to go down the tee, gets it all wrong. So we second serve for Arnaldi. And this surprising good forehand there. Alcaraz tried to blast him off that court there. Arnaldi stood up to it, to be fair, getting a return down the court. Did Alcaraz look a little laboured in retrieving that? Let's have a look at this one on the replay. Just seemed like, you know, Alcaraz usually battles on up. I think it was just too good. Of course, Alcaraz there applauding his opponent. I always like to see that when players appreciate decent shots. Alcaraz goes long with a sliced backhand down the court, goes long, 40 love. Arnaldi, 3 game points for 5-3. And Alcaraz will then next be serving for the first set. I said it had been played at a pretty rapid pace. The clock's saying it's 20. Goes for a big forehand cross court. 5-3 it is to Carlos Alcaraz. 7 for the first set. As I said, 25 minutes this match has been played. These players aren't hanging about. So where else are we looking at tonight? What's going on with Draper? I saw John had put up that it was Rublev with the early break. Yeah, he's still 4-2 in front. Jack Draper's shocked many. I think he's been one of the stories of this championship so far. Of course, no form coming into this. Injured, you know, took out Hurkacz, which is no mean feat. Yeah, he's been looking good. And as I said at the start of the stream, I think this guy has the talent, he has the weapons to, you know, one day potentially be in the mix for Grand Slams. Maybe this one's coming a little bit too early on his recovery and his road back. But Tinder date KFC in just over an hour. What's this story? Where's this coming from? It's Alcaraz on the Tinder, on the Bumble. Right, so 15 love. I've got no idea where that one's come from John. So maybe I've missed a social media story or something, or maybe an interview or something that he quipped in one of his press conferences. I don't know. As I said to you, it's been very hard to try and take in as much of this US Open as he's got him lined up on the Tinder. Ghost, I'm sure you're aware of what Tinder is. I have no doubts about that. Lovely volley there, really expert from Carlos Alcaraz. As John says, not hanging about here. We're likely going to see the end of this first set in roughly 30 minutes. It's a fairly quick set, isn't it? I always kind of say that sets are anything roughly 30 minutes is your average, is it? Maybe it's a quick one. There hasn't been too many contested games, to be fair, not many juice moments, other than, in fact, I mean, I don't think there has. Has there been a juice in the match? Probably not. So Alcaraz looking forward to his KFC. I wonder if he gets a Zinger Tower. And is it what's KFC in the States like? Do they do Zinger Tower? Yeah. Am I talking nonsense? Zinger Tower, they're always the ones with the hash brown, the favourite ones. Anyway, talking nonsense as always. Surprisingly, by that poll, 43%. Is there a lot of Taylor Fritz fans in the building? 43% of you saying they believe Taylor Fritz can stop Djokovic. Really? What is it? Are they just seeing a new Taylor, or is Alcaraz 3-set points, gets them 6-3, takes it, looking fairly comfortable here. Arnaldi, wonder if he'll take any sort of break, but yeah, that's been fairly smooth sailing so far for Carlos Alcaraz. Will we skip over to to basically, I'm old school, Tom. I like flirting in person. I want these broads to feel the heat radiating off this manly body. Yes, okay. Not sure they would quite like being called broads, but maybe I'm just a wee bit out of touch with the lingo. And by the way, if you can hear some child screaming in the background, nobody's getting hurt. It's just my one-year-old getting put down for his nighttime nap or nighttime sleep. So yeah, baby is crying. So please, apologies if you can hear that on the stream. So let's go to will we go to Draper? How's he getting on? Irritating that. Jesus, John. I'm not getting the Draper stream. I'm just trying to find it at the moment. Sorry, apologies if I've gone a little bit quiet. I think I've got it now. Okay, no, we're going to Alcaraz and Arnaldi are back out. So apologies. 5-2 Rublev. You can see it. We'll focus on this one. Yeah, Djokovic versus Taylor Fritz. He loves that matchup. I don't see any issues. What are we thinking about Ben Shelton? I was really shocked yesterday watching that one. Watched bits and pieces of Ben Shelton and Tommy Paul. I really fancied Tommy Paul in this event. I thought, he was coming into a bit of form. I think he'd improved since the Australian Open quarterfinal. All the feels were right for him, but of course, he had a 5-setter early in the event. Ben Shelton, where is this guy's ceiling? I feel like we're still a little unknown with Ben Shelton. We know he's got power, a big serve, a strong forehand, but why is he not getting talked about? They talk about the new big three. Why is Ben Shelton never getting spoke about in those kind of brackets? So Arnaldi 30 love, set 2, first service game. So what else is going on in the ladies? There was the Stearns. She is out. Vondrousova, Stearns. I can't believe that Madison Keys one was just over an hour, that match. Pegula. Any injury concerns with Jess Pegula there? Well, there must have been something going on. That's just a strange day at the office for her. As Carlos Alcaraz, Arnaldi tried to come into the net. Carlos Alcaraz read it fairly early, went up the line with a winner. And he's still very much wanting. I think he'll be looking to hunt down this second set early. He wants this match done as quickly as possible. Arnaldi faults on the first serve. Second serve here, Alcaraz stepping up late, and that might have put him off because he's just went into the net. You know, it's going to be curtains surely if he loses this one early, this service game. He needs to try and build momentum if he's going to stay in touch. So Matteo Arnaldi, of course, the winner of this one will take, it will be the quarter-final, and it was going to be Sinner's Zverev tonight. Really think that one looks pretty tasty. If I had the strength to try and stay awake after a weekend on the beers, Carlos Alcaraz smashing one into the racket of Arnaldi. He has an early break point in this second set. As I said to you, he's hunting this down. He wants this done early. He is not letting up, and Arnaldi, feeling the heat, not just in terms of the court conditions, in terms of the match conditions. He is feeling the heat being brought by Carlos Alcaraz. That serve looked wide to me, or long to me, but it has been called, and a winner cross court by Carlos Alcaraz. He gets the early break. Really good stuff there from Carlos Alcaraz. Ghost is on a rant tonight. I'll tell you that. Anyone enjoying Ghost is, yeah. Let's talk about the tennis, shall we? So we've got Zverev and Sinner. Medvedev, de Minaur. I called that one early. I think de Minaur, Medvedev really doesn't like that matchup. So yeah, I think likely that'll be a good one though. I think Medvedev surprised me. I didn't think he was actually going to get past Baez, if I'm being honest. Yes, and yeah, but fair play. I thought that was a fairly decent performance. I know Baez retired. Did he retire? No, he didn't. Sorry. No, it was Baez's previous match that your man had retired, Alves. So yeah, de Minaur getting past Nicholas Jarry. De Minaur been playing pretty well. He's been loving the kind of hardcourt, the North American hardcourt swing. He has beaten Medvedev. I think it was in Toronto. Did he beat in Montreal, Toronto? Or maybe it was Washington, or anyway, I'll figure it out. John will let me know if I've got the event incorrect. It's Alcaraz, who has a 15-30. He has now had 30-love lead, of course, the early break. So 30-love Alcaraz. This one's surely going to be done within 2 hours, isn't it? It's going to be a fairly quick one. We might even get 10-15 minutes of Draper versus Rublev, which I believe has Rublev taken that first set, or has Draper? Yes, he has. 6-3 Andrei Rublev. Rublev is the potential for the next after Fritz, is it? Let me just double check. Draw. I'm just looking for the Djokovic draw. No, of course it would be TFO versus Ben Shelton after Fritz Djokovic, and then it would be the winner out of Draper, Rublev, de Minaur, Medvedev. That would be the next one in the semi-finals, I believe. So yeah, Carlos Alcaraz having all his own way here. Yeah, there we go. Rublev, de Minaur, and Medvedev. Draper up 1 set down. Carlos Alcaraz 1 set to the good, and a break up in the second. Hasn't faced a break point yet. Has Alcaraz. Arnaldi, poor volley that though. Arnaldi went into the middle of the court. Alcaraz had come into the net, stepped up, and got the timing a little bit off with that one. Looking a wee bit, not just looking a bit grumpy right now. Alcaraz usually fairly all smiles on the court. So he's serving 40-30 up. He goes for the drop shot. Arnaldi is there in time. He's went up the court, down the lane. Alcaraz tries the lob, and it's pinpoint, this lob. Even a jumping Arnaldi stretching out, and it just, literally kisses the top of his racket. But a lovely lob by Alcaraz. Alcaraz doing Alcaraz things. Let's just see this lob again. Yeah, lovely. Pinpoint for Carlos Alcaraz. He leads to love. Lots of fist pumping here. To let both Arnaldi, the crowd, and his box know he's well up for this one as he brings out the new racket. I assume that'll be the new balls then in play. So Alcaraz serving. John's put up the earlier shock result. It was 6-3, 6-1, 6-3, Madison Keys. And Arnaldi gets the first game point. Ghost, I'd like to hear your thoughts on Jess Pegula then. You usually have a few things to say about Jess Pegula. So thoughts on Jess Pegula's not early exit, but exit to Madison Keys. Did you watch the match? What's going on with Jess Pegula? 30 love to Arnaldi as a block return by Alcaraz goes into the net. He was 30 love down in the previous game. A double fault, then brought it back and then he ended up breaking that one. Still no juice so far in this match so far. As far as I'm aware, really easy pickings there from Alcaraz. A fairly tame second serve by Matteo Arnaldi, and Alcaraz puts away the winner on the return. 30-15. Okay, so second serve, Alcaraz is right on top of that. It comes into the net. Alcaraz, Arnaldi's a lovely volley. That is magic, absolutely magic by Carlos Alcaraz. That is special. That is just talent, dripping off this guy. John just highlighted that volley there. It was a fairly decent cross-court forehand by Arnaldi, but that volley is just something else. It's pretty much bounced and then returned to the net. Pinpoint again is a let's call 30 love. Is this going to be insane? As like I said, that is just talent dripping off the racket of this guy. As always, this is why I say that he's pretty much box office Alcaraz, because in every one of his matches, there's always going to be something that's just that little bit different that any other player has. As Arnaldi gets game point, 40-30, keeping himself just about in this second set. Of course, a double break for Carlos, and it would have been pretty much done on the today as a few beers over the weekend, Ghost. And an older man like myself can really do 2 days, it's a 2-day hangover basically, as Arnaldi gets his name onto the scoreboard. So on the coffee just to keep myself awake for this one. Beers were on Saturday, and still struggling a little bit. Not gonna lie, but no, we're all good. We're all good. Happy to be here. What else we're going to talk about here about the tennis? We've covered pretty much the matches that are on the go at the moment. Jack Draper won up. He's held serve in his match. What we got? So let's know. So Ghost was the key. Was just hitting a great deal of precision. But Ghost's serve was all right. Maybe shouldn't have put that one up. But yeah, I like the asterisks in it. 55% for the match. So that'll probably be, where the serve has let her down there. In terms of when they were at the baseline, I take it Madison Keys was just, getting good depth on our ground strokes. Rublev has kind of advanced the draw without anyone talking about him. He should beat Draper today. Might find himself in yet another major quarterfinal as an underdog with nothing to lose. Given how Medvedev has looked, it's not impossible that Rublev could beat him. That's a good point. Of course, Rublev choking to try and break that quarterfinal duck and get into a Grand Slam semi-final. And Medvedev, Right, so Alcaraz, a break to the good in the second set, 6-3, Sabalenka and Kasatkina on tonight. Has Kasatkina got any hope in that one? Daria Kasatkina, or will the new world number one, just confirm that she is the best player in women's tennis right now? As Alcaraz shows off some silky skills with the tennis racket, doing some keepy uppies with the frame. And the age-old Alcaraz, wide serve, return it down to the middle of the court, which he's begging for Arnaldi to do that, and he puts the forehand +1 to the other corner into the ad side, and Arnaldi can't return it. So 15-love, Alcaraz, James leaking a lot of errors, far too many shots have been dropping slow in mid-court. As a result, Rublev's forehand is the dominant ground. Draper is going to win if that doesn't change. You okay, right? So we thanks for that, Jake. In terms of your tweet, or is it your X? So Draper in a bit of trouble, it looks like, or it seems. Surprisingly, I don't know if anyone's seen the stat there, but the guys are very, very similar in terms of Alcaraz and Arnaldi. In terms of winners to unforced errors, 11 winners from Alcaraz, 10 unforced errors. Arnaldi, 10 winners, 10 unforced errors. So the same amount, but one has, just that little edge to them, and that is Carlos Alcaraz, who has a set and a break to the good. First serve goes wide there. No, it didn't get called. Block return, looping block return by Arnaldi, and Alcaraz puts away the forehand. Slowed down a little bit the pace of this, hasn't it? Still don't think we've had a deuce in the match. I may be wrong. I've got some. Just looking at the Ben Shelton. The Ben Shelton soaking it up in New York thing. As a lob by Alcaraz. That's just too good. Arnaldi trying to use his pace to get back to that one, but Alcaraz is playing really good. Has he been like this all event? Because it's some really, really good stuff here from Carlos Alcaraz. He's looking, fairly comfortable here. And it's a bit of a march right now. The drop shot, setting up that lob. Arnaldi had to do pretty much a 360 circled run, the ball was just drifting away from him. So just talking about food and Ben Shelton, when I was in Minneapolis, I had a Juicy Lucy, and which is like a burger with cheese in it. I went to this bar that created these Juicy Lucies or something. Has anyone heard of this? It's Juicy Lucy, or not? Let me know. I know that there's a few folk from the States on the stream. I'm just wondering, am I very dark in this? I've never noticed that. I don't know if you guys are feeling that my lighting isn't too good. I'll maybe try and fix that at the next changeover. So a Juicy Lucy I had when I was in Minneapolis. Let me know if you guys have ever heard of that. I think it's a Minneapolis staple. I think it's originated in Minneapolis, and they kind of are pretty proud of it. So Arnaldi, 15-love up. He just went long with a forehand. You do get the feeling that Alcaraz is going to break again here in the second set. This could be over fairly quickly. Beef and cheese. It's a burger with cheese, melted cheese in the middle of it. I know it's been done before. I've had it before here in the UK, usually frozen, rubbishy ones. These burgers are brilliant. We end up going, a bunch of us, and then after the first one, I had to have another one, so I had 2 Juicy Lucies. So next time you're in Minneapolis, look for a Juicy Lucy, and I can only imagine what Ghost is going to make out of that term. trying to see if I can try and improve my lighting. As I said to you, what we'll do is we'll try and change that at the end of this set. I don't think that's going to last too much longer in terms of this set. Arnaldi is 30-15 to the good here, and I'll talk you through a couple of the points there. So a second serve, Alcaraz on top of it, backhand, strong backhand, fair play Arnaldi. He picks that up, but it goes long, 30 all. Alcaraz wants another break here as he fist pumps to the air. I was talking about earlier on, yeah, I agree, Jake. Arnaldi is giving a decent account of herself, but I just think it has been, it's just a step up in class, isn't it? And yeah, it's just, but yeah, he's not been overwhelmed by the event, the occasion, as the good drop shot. Lovely volley, but Alcaraz is there, goes up the line, goes wide. Really nice by both players, really, Matteo and Arnaldi. And now he is smiling, Alcaraz, even though he lost the point. The crowd appreciate what he was trying to do there. Little tiki-taka tennis there, and he tried to go wrong foot him with a forehand on the backward run, and he goes wide with that forehand. Yes, Ghost. I recognise when I said Juicy Lucy that you may have taken that any way you would prefer. Good, strong first serve and a down the line, and he takes the game. Arnaldi, really well played, 3-2. What's going on with Jack Draper? He's on juice in his serve. Rublev will be looking to try and take that one. What other info do we have here? Let's see. What else do we want to know? He's 1-2 versus top 10 players in his career, Arnaldi, and is aiming to become the seventh win Italian to defeat a world number one since 2000. Okay, that's a pretty interesting one. So who is he beaten, and who's Arnaldi's top 10 win come against? Broke into here we go. It's cracked the top 50 in the live ATP rankings. Okay, so Arnaldi will be in the top 50 at number 47, and he'll move to number 38 if he reaches the quarterfinals. Right? Okay. Yeah, there we go. Casper Ruud. He beat he beat them in Madrid in the clay in the second round. Arnaldi. So Casper Ruud, he has got a top 5 win. Really good. Really impressive. He has he's got a 58-38 challenger record, 4-2 in finals, won a first title on home soil in Italy, and he was at number 22 in juniors. So interesting, doesn't come in with much hype around him when he was a younger man, but it looks like he's one of these players that actually properly learned how to play on the ATP tour, and has got something decent. I think he'll have a decent career in terms of his ability. Will he ever win an ATP title though? That's always the marker. So yeah. Right, so he broke into the top 1000 November 2020, top 500 September 2021, top 200 in August 2022, and top 100 in May 2023. Career high 61 on the 14th of August. He got to an ATP semi-final in Umag. He lost to Popperin. So he's got ability, this guy, and he has performed well so far against Carlos Alcaraz, which is no easy task. So yeah, how did Jack Draper get on? Who are we wanting? Do we want Jack Draper to try and overturn this one? Are you guys wanting Rublev? I think we looked at what Owen was saying about Rublev in terms of, can this be the event that he wins, or he gets to that semi-final, that elusive semi-final performance, as Alcaraz goes for a overhead smash, puts it away fairly confidently, and he is 30 love to the good. I think you'll probably want another break, won't you? This is to go 4-2 in front before the next changeover. Alcaraz has won 85% of his net points, 11 of 13. He's getting a lot of success by sneaking into that net and timing it right. That's one of his trademarks, is to time that step in as he does now. He went for a volley. It's a bit of a shorter volley though. Gives Arnaldi the chance to go for a stretch lob, but it goes long. You're correct, Ghost. I think, yeah, I don't think you're right. I think it's just been a step it's just a step up in ability and class. And when he's playing like this, Carlos, he's still probably in third gear, let's be honest. But he's pulled up some one or two. He goes to the drop shot. Arnaldi's stretching to get there, gets it, goes for a slice with a lob. I don't know, was that about a hindrance there? Alcaraz gives him a stare. Really interesting. Let's have another look at this. So a really, again, a decent drop shot. Arnaldi got there just as it was coming down for the second bounce. Yeah, it could have been about a hindrance there. He looked like he tried to make a motion as Alcaraz was getting for the volley, and he was getting up for the shot and the lob. And I think Alcaraz gave him a little bit of a stare there. So yeah, I wonder if there's any. I mean, the handshake. What happened with the handshake against Iga Swiatek and Ostapenko? I read somewhere that there was a bit of a coldness to it. So yeah, let us know if there was something. As Arnaldi, that looked as if it was long, but it's not been called by the electronic line judge. A volley. Oh. Carlos Alcaraz just tried another outrageous volley. This one didn't come off. Arnaldi has the first game point, 15 love. Yeah, let's see in the sky with diamonds. We're talking Beatles now. So yeah, serve from Alcaraz, backhand cross court by Arnaldi. Alcaraz goes for the strong forehand. He's going to go for it again, this time down the line. Good defense so far by Arnaldi. The third attempt at the forehand is put away by Carlos Alcaraz. Cross court, add to add. And yes, he puts it away, 15 all. Another break here, and yeah, it'll be pretty much home and hosed, shall we say. Might knock the wind out of Arnaldi, and you wouldn't be surprised if there was if it goes 1 or 2 in the third set. Just, I think, by coming up to the hour mark now. This set certainly has been a little bit slower than the first year, but at 58 minutes, Alcaraz going for the steps in. Oh, nice by Arnaldi. Really good. Alcaraz thought he had that there. He stepped up on the second serve, came into the net after a strong backhand down the line, but good passing shot by Arnaldi, cross court. He's looking pretty pumped here. I think Arnaldi did annoy him at that last point, the game point that Alcaraz won on his serve. Good strong forehand by Arnaldi. He's going to put this one away as well. Yep, nice play by the Italian. Again, not being overawed by Carlos Alcaraz approach. And yeah, really nice stuff by the Italian, the 22-year-old. Where is he from? Did we find that out? San Remo. Am I saying that right? San Remo. This is where he's from. Yeah, what poll is this? Nick, hi Nick, by the way. So why does this poll exist? There's multiple polls going on at the moment from the Talking Tennis producer. Oh, it's something to do with Alcaraz and going to KFC and on a Tinder date. I'm not 100%. It's not me pushing the buttons in the background. As Arnaldi secures his service game, he 3-4 down, as you can see by the scoreboard. What else have we got to look at here? Youngest first team became third Spanish man in Wimbledon history to win the singles title. Beat Rude this time last year. Becoming the youngest men's champion of since Sampras at 19, 1998 Grand Slam since Nadal at 19. Captured 9 titles as a teenager. Behind Borg, Nadal, Valander, Becker, and Agassi. He's and the 6th youngest to win 10 tour titles behind Valander, Borg, Nadal, Becker, and Agassi. Improved to 4-0 in ATP Masters 1000 finals with a repeat title at 2023 Madrid. Second best start in Masters 1000 final, only behind Michael Chang and Jim Courier. Both won 5-0. Lost his first Masters 1000 final at Cincinnati. Of course, that epic 3-hour, 49-minute final against Novak Djokovic. But he did, of course, have a championship point. And that was the longest best of 3 final in ATP Tour history since 1990, that is. As the players take a break, my stream goes down temporarily, but we are back up and running. Alcaraz steps in, and he's starting to read it, Arnaldi. He's starting to read when Alcaraz is stepping in. You can see there Jack Draper held serve. I think it was a fairly long service game because it was just a few times as I glanced at the scoreboard. So yeah, okay, cool. Nick, thank you for so Nick's wanting updated on what's going on in this because he's watching Draper and Rublev. So I will try and see. I will try and keep you up to date on this one then. I will try and call it for you, Nick, and anyone else who has the other stream on. Yeah, the Wimbledon final was for me my favourite. I didn't actually stay up to watch the final set of that Cincinnati one. It was getting too late on a school night for me. So yeah, but I did watch the whole Wimbledon final, and that was pretty epic. So Carlos Alcaraz, Nick is needing updated. So he's got a bouncing over his smash, and he goes wide with it at 15-all. That is a strange one for Carlos Alcaraz. And a little bit of trouble here on this game. This would be a short break if Arnaldi did it, because it's Alcaraz that's been pushing all the way in this second set for a double break. But yeah, he had plenty of time, Alcaraz, to put that one away. And even he looks a little dumbfounded as to what happened there. So 15-30 down. And he's just put a volley. Drive volley down to the bottom of the court. Arnaldi, fair play, he's got it back in plenty of time. Another smash just makes it over the net by Alcaraz. Forehand into the inside out forehand. Arnaldi was nearly on top of that rally. He looks a bit dismayed because he was going to be setting up a couple of break points, but he puts a forehand into the net. That will go down as an error because he was getting on top in that rally there. Alcaraz again, a smash wasn't looking too convincing there. Arnaldi getting a little bit frustrated because he knows this was an opportunity. He's still in it though, 30-all. Tom, Nick is a huge Yelena Ostapenko fan. It might be nice if you occasionally list out some of her statistical successes from her recent win over Iga. I'm sure Nick would love that. I think you're being a little tongue-in-cheek here, Ghost, if I'm right in saying. Is it maybe the reverse of that? And Nick is maybe an Iga fan and maybe doesn't want reminded too much of that defeat. Alcaraz, second serve, goes into the net. Arnaldi's looking a little bit weathered here. Had a 5-setter, a pretty long 5-setter against Arthur Fils earlier in the tournament. I wonder if the heat, the humidity is maybe getting to the young Italian now. Who knows? Only his third Grand Slam event after French Open and Wimbledon. In fact, he didn't even make the main draw at Wimbledon, did he? He failed in the last qualifying match. He looks on top of this rally, though, and a attempted backhand cross-court goes into the net by Alcaraz. Definitely the level has dropped just ever so slightly by Carlos Alcaraz. And as far as I'm aware, certainly on the Alcaraz serve, but this is the first time they've had deuce in the match, I believe. It's always been fairly straightforward. Hold. And there you go, Nick. I've got your back, fella. We'll focus on the Carlos match because you are focusing on the Draper one. So Carlos Alcaraz, second serve on deuce, on his serve. Arnaldi, cross court, forehand to forehand now, a backhand by Alcaraz, deuce to deuce, and it's another amazing volley. Arnaldi gets it in time. Arnaldi's pretty much going, how are you making these volleys? The volleys are really helping this guy out here today. Some exquisite tennis. That was a fairly, again, when he was coming in, Arnaldi's read these ones the last couple of times. In fact, that wasn't even up. I don't believe. Of course, the VAR use in the Murray match is kind of gone down in a bit of infamy. Of course, Corrigan Muti saying that he'd got it up. The umpire called that he hadn't. And yeah, the VAR didn't work. Alcaraz half volley return there. I think he thought it was going to go long, but it was well in the court. I think it maybe even shocked Arnaldi, who then went wide and long with his forehand. So Carlos Alcaraz holds, doesn't face a break point there. Arnaldi looking ever more so frustrated. And yeah, really warm weather here in the UK. I believe Jake is in the UK, but I think he's in Wales. But yeah, we're having a bit of a heat wave this week in the UK, and today was certainly up in Scotland and Edinburgh where I was. It was pretty warm stuff today. Sliced backhand by Alcaraz. He's just going a little wayward. Alcaraz. He's just put his backhand wide. We'll get Anastasia's video up. At the end of this, will we do it? The end of this set? Yeah, we'll do it at the end of this set, John. Yeah, cool. Anastasia's got a new video out. Of course, Anastasia, contributor to Talking Tennis, and I believe is in Queens at the moment, and picking up things for us on the ground. So strong forehand return. It was a poor second serve in terms of pace and set up nicely for Alcaraz, who puts a strong forehand cross court to the feet of Arnaldi, who blocks it, and it goes long. A break here would be very, very comfortable. Goes for the drop shot, doesn't find it. Arnaldi's running out of ideas. He's looking a little bit frustrated, a little bit fed up. He's tried to go with a forehand slice drop shot. That, to me, always, when they go for these points very early in the rally, sometimes says to me, this guy's feeling the conditions. He's getting a bit tired at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he took a break if he was to lose this set. A block return by Alcaraz after a strong first serve goes long. 30-all. Arnaldi having a little fist pump there just to let Carlos Alcaraz know that he isn't done yet. And he's got that weird selfish motion. That one looked as if it was in. It's been called out. So second serve, 30-all. Alcaraz 2 points away from the second set. And he goes long. Again, Alcaraz looking a little bit, just a bit wavered at the moment. The last 10, 15 minutes, apart from the volleys, of course, but his actual ground strokes, just being a little bit wavered. I mean, that wasn't the strongest second serve. Alcaraz will be a little bit frustrated that he couldn't control that one in terms of distance. First serve goes into the net from Arnaldi. And Alcaraz rookie. So backhand return. Alcaraz goes up the line. That one looks like it caught the line. The players are still playing. Again, Alcaraz, I think, misjudged that when he thought the lob was going to go long. It didn't. A forehand goes back into Arnaldi, and he puts it wide. Sorry. So we're at deuce again. After going so long without a deuce game, we have deuce on the Arnaldi serve. Arnaldi's second serve won in set 2. Arnaldi's won 5 of 12. And one of those was, a couple of those have been unforced errors by Carlos Alcaraz. We've got Juice here, 2 points away. Again, Carlos, this time first serve goes in, block return, allows Arnaldi to set up the cross-court backhand, but he goes long with it. And Alcaraz has a set point. So for 2 sets to love lead, Alcaraz again will be looking to get this one done and dusted as quickly as possible, and hope that Djokovic gets taken to a longer match against Taylor Fritz, of course. Good strong first serve by Arnaldi. He's trying the serve and volleys come into the net. Alcaraz has read it. Pretty ambitious, that attempt, as he tries to go cross court into the other corner, from just court to just court, but it goes long and wide. So we're back to Juice. And I think we're about an hour and 10 minutes long in this one. As I said to you, this second set's been played at a slightly slower pace, a little bit more competitive than the first, perhaps. First serve gets in, played to the feet of Arnaldi. That one looked long. It is long. It's another set point to Alcaraz. Alcaraz tactic, playing it to the feet. That one's ever so slightly out. Arnaldi motioning to his box about something. Of course, no challenges here. It's just electronic line calls. I will try and fix my lighting whilst we watch the Anastasia video. First serve goes wide. Second serve, Alcaraz surely will step up here and try and take this one early. He does. He gets it all wrong, and the volley goes in. They both smile at that one. They were both coming into the net. Alcaraz on the return, Arnaldi on the serve. He was trying to serve and volley it. Then they both were going to meet in the middle. A wayward backhand and a volley just goes into Alcaraz smiling and apologising because I think he just totally got that one all wrong. Just noticed there's a little bit of strapping on the Alcaraz left wrist. Is it maybe just a sweatband? And I'm freaking out, Alcaraz fans, as he again plays a backhand return to the feet of Arnaldi, and a half volley can only go wide. It's a third set point for Carlos Alcaraz, and you really think the stuffing may well and truly be taken out of Arnaldi's game. First serve in, just over the net. He went for the drop shot. Alcaraz makes it, and he just totally wrong foots it. 2 sets to love. A little bit a wry smile. That was really good. Right, so we are 2 sets to go. 6-3, 6-3, an hour and 13 minutes. John's going to play us the new video that's just dropped from Anastasia at the US Open. Enjoy this one, guys, and I'll be back in a minute.
Day 7 was hot but breezy, a beautiful day at the Open. Full day at Louis Armstrong started with Mukova versus Wang. Wang pushed Mukova to take this match to 3 sets, but Mukova stuck through the heat to become the first player to enter the quarterfinals. Didn't watch most of the Bencic versus Cristea match, but it seems like Cristea cruised through. Then it was back to Louis for the main event. The line for the general admission was long again, and I would like to address this a bit. I think seeing lines like this is good. It means the player or players are a big draw. It's great promotion for the sport that hasn't had much traction in the US for a while. Hopefully, it leads to more fans following the tour during other tournaments in the American swing. Anyway, back to the tennis. Ricky tried, but Francis is really locked in this tournament and won in straight sets. Then on to my favorite match of the day. I am so glad I got to see Dominic Stricker play in person this tournament. Big server, and I love his playing style. After playing through qualifying and a lot of 5-set matches, this was a bit too much for him. And Taylor won the match, but can't wait to see more of him on tour. Got to see the most fun duo in mixed doubles, and then called it a night on day 7.
That is high quality content, isn't it? Really good insight into what it's like to be at the US Open. Really well played, Anastasia. I enjoyed that. Didn't go anywhere. I could have taken the chance to take a wee break myself, but I thought that I really enjoyed watching that. So well done, Anastasia. And stick with talking tennis for all this kind of content. Hit the like button, subscribe. John will update us on where we are on our way to 3,000 subscribers. I can't remember by the last count, the last time I was on. But yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already, and you'll be notified. When we come on air. So we're just 160 short. That's amazing, because I believe just around about Wimbledon we were chasing the 2,000 marker. So tell your friends, get them into tennis if they're not already. As we see out the last Grand Slam of the year. But it's going to be an exciting period for tennis. This Djokovic Alcaraz rivalry. You've got, Swiatek now is immortal, and there's a lot of players chasing her down. Of course, she no longer will be the world number one. That goes to Sabalenka. So the women's game has got some really interesting storylines. Just to talk about the other match, Jack Draper has broken the Rublev serve, and he leads 4-2 in the second set. So I may, at the end of this one, depending on how we go, maybe see out a set or something on the Jack Draper one, and then I'm going to go and get my dinner, which is it's a Chinese takeaway that my missus has kindly picked up for us. So yeah, well done her. Thank you, Simone. Okay, so into the tennis that I'm watching, that I'm taking you through. For people like Nick, Alcaraz, he was just trying to end that point early. He's just hit the net, but he's 40-15, fairly comfortable in this one here. And he'll be hoping to get the early lead in the third set. What does Matteo Arnaldi, what can he do? Can he do anything to stop this juggernaut of Alcaraz? Can he do anything? Did we just come down just 153? Did we get 7 subscribers there? No way, did we? I wonder if we just got 70 because I asked you to. If you did, thank you very much. Alcaraz finishes off that game. He's 1-love up. They take a quick drink. The roof is on, I believe, on Arthur Ashe. I wonder if Anastasia is sitting in the crowd. I've got a friend there actually on this Monday, so he is getting to see Alcaraz. One of my friends, Jamie Neve from Scotland, all the way over there from Scotland. He will be sitting in the Arthur Ashe right now. He was asking me what one to go for in terms of Arthur Ashe or the Louis Armstrong. I had suggested going to the Arthur Ashe because, and I may be wrong, and somebody may with more insight than I be able to tell me if this is true or not. I heard that if you have Arthur Ashe tickets, you can pretty much go anywhere on the complex. You can get into any other stadium, any other part of the complex. So I said go for Arthur Ashe because then it opens up if you want to jump to Louis Armstrong as well. What he might want to do is see this one out and then maybe jump round to Louis Armstrong and see if Jack Draper can come back from a set down against Andrei Rublev. And he's doing all right at the moment. He's got game point in that one to take a 5-2 lead. Arnaldi not having too much difficulty on his serve at the moment. He's 30-love up. And yeah, so let's talk you through a couple of points here. He's got that odd service motion for me, but it seems to be quite effective as an Alcaraz return can only find the net. 3 game points for Matteo Arnaldi. That serve 123 miles per hour, so he does have a bit of a weapon with that serve. It doesn't look fast. It's one of these serves. In fact, there we go. The fastest serve speed, they're both at 129 miles per hour. And another ace by Arnaldi, really strong stuff. It would be easy for him to fold here and say, I'm happy with my 4th round appearance. I will take my ranking points. I will take my big wad of cash and fight for the rest of the year. But he's staying in this one. And so fair play to him. Jamie Neve, Neave, I don't think he'll be watching this stream, mind you. So there's no point giving him a shout out. But he is in Arthur Ashe all the way from Scotland. I told him I'd be watching, get the Scotland flag up. He, like myself, he was actually, for anyone who may have caught John and I speaking right at the start of the stream, it was Jamie Neve and I he was one of the guys that was in Mexico with to go to the Azteca Stadium. So yeah, Jamie Neve and I, and he is there with his partner, his wife. I think it's a birthday or something, and yeah, he got treated to the US Open. So a big tennis fan there as well. So there we go, Jamie Neve, Scotland. There is a Scotsman somewhere in that crowd watching Alcaraz sail through the first 2 sets without any real difficulties. Hasn't faced a break point. And Jack Draper though is 5-2 up. So Jack is holding his own as well. So let's talk you through this one. It's love 15 on the Alcaraz serve. I said he was looking a little bit shabby in that second set. He was lucky to see it out. 2 breaks of serves in the second set, but he's just put another one long. Yes, Ghost. I did enjoy my time in Mexico. I've done Mexico twice actually. Went to Cancun twice on 2 occasions. One with the lads, one with the partner. And yeah, it's a fun place, Cancun. I'm sure anyone who's been there, I think, what do they call it? Like the Mexico's answer to. Okay. So we have an interesting development here. A strong Arnaldi return. Alcaraz is looking a little bit off it here. I said that he was, his range, his depth was a little bit wayward in the second set. Arnaldi has got 3 break points to get an early break in this third set. So let's see if we can get myself out of this one. Down the tee serve, forehand cross court. Arnaldi staying in the rally, really well played. Arnaldi now on top in the rally, and he has broken serve. Matteo Arnaldi, take a bow, son. He has broken the Alcaraz serve for the first time in the match. A few folk applauding that because they want to see a match here. I'm sure there'll be plenty of Alcaraz fans in there, but fair play to Matteo Arnaldi, who takes the opportunity to change, get the body out and change his top. So a wee bit of a development, a twist in the tail. Matteo Arnaldi breaks the Alcaraz serve to love. So there you go. In the other match, Rublev 30-love up on Jack Draper, trailing 2-5 in the second set. That one did, to be honest. I mean, considering Jack Draper's came from nowhere again in terms of no form, injury for much of 2023, missed the grass court season. Of course, that one would have been hard for Jack, considering Wimbledon, his home event. It does fairly well there as well. He's had a fairly decent run to, I think, to the third, fourth round. So yeah, Jack Draper is now going to be serving for the second set. So fair play to him. He's making a match of this. I think Jake had maybe mentioned, or was it Owen who'd said, his backhand wasn't really working, and Rublev was picking him off. But what's going on with Carlos Alcaraz? Broken early here to love. Couple of unforced errors in that one, and that's just the common theme of what had happened later into the second set. So we could be going for a little bit longer than we thought here at Arthur Ashe. Hitting 2 minutes past 8 in the UK. And so it would just be like Carlos Alcaraz just to battle back, break back straight away. He'll probably have went and reset there a little bit at the changeover. A double fault, it looks like, by I'm getting my calls all wrong, because that one, lovely by Alcaraz. He looks at it as well. It is electronic line calling, but that second serve from Arnaldi did look long. Alcaraz on top of that second serve. A looping then +1 block return by Arnaldi, and a put away drop shot by Alcaraz has him love 15 up. Wayward first serve by Arnaldi. One of those ones that didn't even get onto the right side of the court. So second serve here, Alcaraz steps up, miss-hit backhand, and that allows Arnaldi to get on top in the rally. He puts away a forehand, comes up to the net to volley. Alcaraz goes for the lob. It's perfectly timed again. He got it back at Arnaldi, and a smashed forehand by Alcaraz. They both put a smile. Fair play, Arnaldi. He got that back. It was it's just accuracy to the highest order on that lob. For all my time watching tennis, I always loved the fact that Andy Murray was probably one of the best lobbers of all time. Alcaraz is definitely going to give him a run for that title, because every time I see an Alcaraz lob, it's pretty much exactly where he wants it to put. But well played, Arnaldi. He got it back. I don't know why Alcaraz is apologising. I don't know if it's for the miss-hit earlier in the rally, but he's love 30 up. First serve this time comes in for Arnaldi. He tries to wrong foot him by going back around, and a pushed forehand goes long, 15-30. It maybe takes that breaker serve just to get Alcaraz back focused. He's still smiling, having a conversation with his box at the moment. Jai Alai in Cancun. I can't say I did. First serve goes long. Looks like the service percentage is going a little bit down here from Arnaldi. Just after that break of serve, he just needs to stay focused. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Second serve is in. Strong forehand return as Alcaraz comes into the net. It's going to be a smash. He got the last couple wrong, but this time he gets that one right, puts it away, and that was all made by the fact that Arnaldi had to second serve. It was short, it was slow, it was jumped on by Alcaraz, a forehand down the line, the looping return, and Alcaraz puts away the smash. That'll give him confidence. 2 break points. First serve is in. He goes for the drop shot. It catches the line. Alcaraz gets there. And a volley by Alcaraz. Oh, he's got there. That's unreal. He's got it. It's a tweener by Alcaraz. And a volley. Oh, he's still going. Wow. Okay. So a lot going on there. The crowd are on their feet. They're loving this tennis. Arnaldi is orchestrating the crowd to get them back on top. Alcaraz, can't believe he did not win that point. But fantastic tennis from both players. It was a drop shot that caught the line. Alcaraz got there, tried to go back down the line. A lob attempt. In fact, no, it was a passing attempt by Arnaldi. A volley at short quarters by Alcaraz. A tweener then from the subsequent lob. And then another volley, which Alcaraz somehow got to, but put the lob long. Best point of the match, probably. That one there. And you can see by the crowd's reaction, they really enjoyed that one. Still got a break point, though, Alcaraz. We'll go back to Jack Draper. Strong first serve, block return, forehand by Alcaraz. He's hit the net cord. It's going to drop in. Arnaldi's up there, and it probably helped. It favoured Arnaldi more than anything. He saves a second break point. This guy is, he's a bit of a player. And he's actually starting to win some of the New York crowd round to his side. So, yeah, fair play to Matteo Arnaldi. I've been impressed with him not fading at all here, and just saying, listen, I'm willing to battle with you, forehand to forehand. So got the first serve in this time. Forehand return by Alcaraz, +1 forehand into the other corner by Arnaldi, and the return then goes long. Really, really impressive stuff here. This is his best game probably in the last. Jack Draper, yeah. Andrew Rublev, 6-3. Jack Draper in the second set. We'll still focus on Arnaldi here. He's got his serve. First serve has went long. Alcaraz will just do what Alcaraz does. I think he's going to step up late. Still behind the baseline at the moment. Stepping up late into the thing. He's past the baseline now. He's on top of that one. He refuses to come into the net, though. Goes back to the baseline. And that was the right decision because a backhand up the line by Arnaldi goes long. These games definitely more competitive. We waited a set and a half just to get deuce on anyone's service game. And now the last few games have been that way, apart from, of course, the Alcaraz break, or the Alcaraz being broken. Alcaraz wants their service game back. He wants to get on a canter. That goes wide. So second serve down the line by Alcaraz, sliced backhand by Alcaraz, strong forehand by Arnaldi, wayward. That was really good play by Alcaraz. He's forcing the issue. He's asking Arnaldi to pull out the big weapons and saying, can you do that more than once? And he puts that one long and wide. So Alcaraz has a break point here. This is his third one, of course. Arnaldi played some of his best tennis with that one. It's served down the tee, it's in, and it's a mishit by Arnaldi. He's going to be frustrated. 2-all. Alcaraz breaks straight back, and Arnaldi's going to be absolutely kicking himself. He had a game point. He battled back from 15-40, but I said to you guys earlier on it, Carlos Alcaraz, his in-game manoeuvres in terms of tactics and figuring out, right, what do I want my opponent to do? Okay, I want him to try and see, can you hit those forehands again? Can you do it? And he couldn't. And he's back. Alcaraz is backing that. He's basically saying, I think you hit the money shot there, but can you do that again? I don't think you can. Try it. And Arnaldi couldn't answer it. So we're back on a level keel, 2-all. Jack Draper and Rublev. I believe one of them may have taken some sort of comfort break in between the second and third set, but that one could go a little bit longer. Yeah, I agree, Jake. Yeah, I think he does. Arnaldi. So Jake is just saying that he thinks Arnaldi's forehand's been a little bit far too up and down, and yeah, I mean you can see that it is a strength of his. But that's my point. I think Alcaraz is saying, okay, I can see you've got this. You're going to want to use this. I don't think you can use this over and over again against me. And it goes, oh, so I think both players are enjoying this one though, and certainly Arnaldi's certainly enjoying the experience of playing the current world number one the current world number two on Arthur Ashe on the biggest stadium in the world. It's a lot of smiling. Alcaraz went down the middle with a forehand after a block return, and it was also like a pirouette from Arnaldi. First serve goes in and goes wrong foots Arnaldi 30-15. I'm just catching up with some of the chat. From you guys, Nick, what's happening? And Nick, you mentioned you were watching the Draper match. What's been happening in that one? First serve by Alcaraz. He goes for the drop shot. Arnaldi couldn't get there. Even though he'd read it earlier, that just shows you how good the Alcaraz drop shot was there. Timed it perfection. He just comes down so late in the tennis motion that you really can't. You really find it difficult to read it. Yeah, 40-15, 2 game points. He's turned this one around. And you wouldn't bet against him breaking again in the next Arnaldi service game. So second serve, Alcaraz hits the net with his first. Good return by Arnaldi. A slice backhand by Arnaldi. It's gone long. Good depth, actually. He goes for the strong forehand or backhand. Well played, Arnaldi. Again, another fist pump. This guy's showing some cojones. Is that cojones? He's showing that he's a fighter. This guy, he's a fighter. Really impressed there. I know he ended up losing that game, but he was 15-40 down, and he was like, "I'm going to fight for this." So Alcaraz still with game point, 40-30. The match is an hour and 34 minutes long. By the way, did you notice I tried to fix my lighting for you guys so it wasn't just a silhouette? Draper is off court at the moment. It seems like it's been a long break. Is he injured or anything? I don't know. Just seems like it's been quite a while. Alcaraz, it's a let, second serve let. Okay, so we're going to be joined by Nick, the talking tennis, Nick, and he's going to take us through. Lovely cross court forehand by Alcaraz, Arnaldi on the stretch, and yeah. So Alcaraz 3-2 up. Nick, we can chat things. He can basically tell us. Nick is going to come on and he's going to update us and tell us all the happenings of the Louis Armstrong Stadium. It also means I probably don't have to do the Draper Rublev anymore because I can go and enjoy my Chinese takeaway because Nick may be joining us in the near future. The players take a sit-down break. Ghost is going to get some Ostapenko stats ready for good old Nick. And that means I can have an early night and rid myself of a 2-day hangover. I shouldn't say that in the stream, should I? Just old, just age. Anyone under the age of 30 just doesn't know what a 2-day hangover is yet. Yes, I was at a press joint at a whiskey distillery on Saturday night. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun just in Clydebank, the area that I cover for the local newspaper. And yeah, we were treated like VIPs. So thank you. Auchentoshan is the whiskey distillery. So yeah, am I allowed to say that on stream? Right, so players taking a wee break here. I don't know if anyone. No, they're ready to serve. Okay, I can see Nick in the background. He will be joining us pretty soon and letting us know what's been happening with the Jack Draper match. As Jack Draper, as you can see, I think, depending on where Nick is. Hi, Nick. How are you doing?
I am right here. I thought I would leave the anonymity of the chat. Now I've eaten my dinner and come and join you.
Well,
so
that's good of you. What's been happening then?
Well, Rublev seemed to be in control. Draper had a bit of a meltdown early in the second set, argued with the umpire that he was hearing things with all the let cords that were going off. Stabilized, broke Rublev in a loose game for the Russian, where he served 2 double faults in the same game, and just motored to that set. And now they're currently in a rally. Draper trying to set up break point to break early in this third set. Rublev looking a little rattled here, and he's just netted the backhand. It's 15-40.
Wow. Okay.
Well, okay, maybe not now because I can see the scoreboard. I'm a little behind the live score. But oh well. But yeah, there you go. So Draper's making it a battle on Louis Armstrong. I would guess that Arnaldi made things a little interesting. Well, from listening to your commentary, Arnaldi made things a little bit interesting at the start of the third set, but Alcaraz immediately broke back. And it's back in control.
He's going that way. I mean, it's 15-all on the Arnaldi serve here. I mean, I was saying I like this kid. I like this Arnaldi guy. He could have easily have just been like, you know what, I've enjoyed my moment in the limelight here, and against one of the world's best players, and he's beaten me. He's just too good. But he broke to love. He broke Carlos Alcaraz to love. Strangely, Alcaraz, without being too like playing, he's probably been playing about third or fourth gear, but with the odd occasion of like an unreal volley or an unreal passing shot. But then midway through the second set, he just started going a bit wayward, and his range was all off. He was hitting balls wide and long, but he somehow then made a second break in the second set. But that kind of theme continued, and I think the break to love by Arnaldi kind of refocused Alcaraz a little bit. I think, maybe it's easy to, when you're so comfortable and so far ahead in a match, that it's easy to maybe lose focus. But that refocused him, and he broke back there. So fair play to Carlos. I saw your eyes raised there. What's happening in the Draper match?
Rublev shanks a forehand, and Draper breaks in the opening game of the third.
Wow. Where does this come from then, Nick? And, Jack Draper, there was no kind of form. There was injury all year. Missed the grass court season. Where does this Jack Draper, run come from?
I really don't know. I think he's literally pulling it out from wherever he keeps his talent. And he was coming in like he wasn't even sure he was going to play the US Open. He pulled out of Winston-Salem injured, story of his season, and now he's bettered his run from last year, because last year got to the third round. And as we see Rublev refitting his headband, but it ended up pushing his sweaty hair into his eyes. I think this is all Jack Draper's talent. We know that Jack Draper has a lot of talent, but his body's not let him deliver on it. Yeah. This would potentially be the biggest win of his career if he managed to pull this off, but still a long way to go.
And what about the Rublev, temperament? I mean, he's when things don't go his way, you know what he can get like, and it can sometimes put him off, or it can sometimes inspire him. You mentioned, him. It was Jack Draper in the second set, and then he actually turned that around. So is Rublev, how's he taking things so far?
Not well at all. He was probably very close to ball abuse when he got broken. Magnificent forehand cross-court winner by Jack Draper. Wonderful lefty forehand there. He's not taking the situation well. I don't think he looks well, to be honest. Like, it looks like he's lost weight. His complexion looks a bit paler. But that he looks like that the entire US hardcourt season.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this has come from.
Yeah. Well, does he not historically though? Am I right in saying that historically Rublev doesn't really like the North American swing? Am I right in saying that?
No, he's got the Cincinnati final, US Open quarterfinals multiple times.
Yeah.
I'd say this is actually arguably his most successful slam in some ways. He's so, and actually, these courts should suit him. It's just, well, we know Rublev, his game style is really limited.
Yeah.
Well, not really limited, because he could blast pretty much anyone off the court except the rest of the top 8.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, he's now got himself in a position where he's just going to have to keep working. Like, to be fair on Rublev, he just works really hard, and he's very hard to keep down, as exemplified by this rally where he just pummels Draper and forces him into making an error.
Yeah.
We have Don Luigi in the chat, who's probably wanting to know what's happening with Carlos, given he's Spanish.
Yeah, well, Arnaldi again is still not going anywhere. Like, I mean, I know he's 2 sets down, but he still seems to have a bit of belief here that he can do something utterly amazing, because he was game point up there. He's quite willing to take on Alcaraz. I've noticed this. He's quite. There's been points in the match where he's turned around rallies and been on top of the rallies when it should have really been Alcaraz. And he's reading a lot of the Alcaraz drop shots. He's getting there and making Alcaraz maybe play an extra shot. So as I've said, I've been pretty impressed with the guy. I think Alcaraz obviously is just a step up in quality for him, but I think it's 3-all now. 15-love Carlos Alcaraz. Camera is like fixating on Arnaldi at the moment, just to see if he is fit. He is blowing a little bit. In terms of he's had a couple of long runs in the last wee bit, and has he got that? He just went for a return backhand. To me, it looks as if it had caught the line, but the electronic line call was hit just out by like the smallest of margins. So 30-love in the Alcaraz serve. I think if Alcaraz can see this game out, we're going to kind of be in danger country for Arnaldi in terms of just playing one bad service game. But he's proven me wrong so far. I thought he would have just chucked it by now effectively, but he's staying in it, and Alcaraz is having to play some of his main stuff here.
Interesting. Do you think Carlos Alcaraz is the kind of player who prefers having a challenge? Is he one of those players who, if it's an easy match, his brain kind of goes walkabout a bit?
I do, and I mean, I hate to say it, because I do think that he's a guy who like just loves tennis, but I think it's easy to get complacent. If everything's going well in the match, it's maybe like, I know that the guys like the top 3 made absolute a career out of staying at the top level no matter who they're playing. But Carlos, maybe just youth. It seemed like he lost focus a little bit. As I said to you, he went through like a 10-15 minute period where, I mean, he had a smash. I think it all started. He had a smash at one point where he was in total control of the rally. He had loads of time. It was one of those ones that went high. The bounce was pretty high for him just to take his time and pick his spot, and he went wide with it. And then the next couple of ground strokes that were long and wide, and I just thought he's not actually playing his sizzling best here. But in terms of then breaking again. I mean, Jake's making the point as well that Carlos always has lapses in the match. I think you're right. The Djokovic Wimbledon final, obviously the lapse really came at the start, where I think he took a while just to kind of realise, like, I'm not going to be nervous here. I think maybe nerves took him out the first set, and then he basically refocused, which was great. And that's what I said as well. I said, I never maybe gave Carlos Alcaraz enough credit for being one of these players who at such a young age is able to work out what his opponent's doing and problem solve during a match, and which obviously he did in Wimbledon. I think that there is probably a call to be made there in terms of, was he just getting a little bit complacent there? He likes, he thrives on the Djokovic rivalry and the intensity now. Maybe there is an element of that, but who am I to question Carlos Alcaraz? I'm just, I think he's back on it. I think that break of serve to love really kind of woke him up a little bit.
I mean, Ghost is somewhat incredulous that we are making this point, given that Alcaraz is about to close in straight sets.
I know. We've got to talk about something, though.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a possible... I mean, and, you're right. I mean, I think we talk about this because there's a possibility that... there was a possibility at one point Arnaldi might get this set. It's not likely now, but it's
well, the cross-court forehand he's just put away is pretty much, I don't know if he can hear us, Carlos Alcaraz, because he's just literally done a one-handed stretched forehand winner that literally like flew through the screen and through over the net. Really good. So he's love 15, although he's just put his next return wide. But there seems to be a bounce in his step again. I said at the time of commentary that he just looked a little flat, and he wasn't really seen to be his usual smiley self. Wasn't being like animated in terms of being angry or grumpy. He didn't look as overall happy. I don't know. I mean, the strapping. I didn't watch the Evans match. Was the strapping on for that match as well?
I didn't notice it. I mean, the Evans match was interesting. I think both guys were just having a lot of fun. Dan went out and took that third set. I mean, I think Alcaraz did have a little bit of a lapse in that, but I don't know. It just feels like sometimes he drops sets when he doesn't need to. And that's something that's just going to come with experience. You know, eventually he's going to learn to be just ruthlessly efficient. But I think I can understand if someone's young enough that they're kind of like, oh, this is just a little bit routine. Or maybe he's just, you know, he's come out today and his level's dropped a bit, which can happen over the course of a major.
Yeah.
But Arnaldi's just not quite got enough to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
So
he's 30 all here. He's certainly better playing, you know, more like his first set level. And he's starting to dominate the rallies more. He's now got a break point. He's basically asking Arnaldi. What I made the point, I don't know if you heard me just before you were coming on, Nick, was I feel like he's basically going, right, okay, you've got a decent forehand here. You've taken me out some of the rallies by that forehand. I want to see if you can keep on doing that. And he's basically almost like, you know, egging him to go, on you go here. I'll give you this point if you can do that again, kind of thing. And you know, Arnaldi's that basically he doesn't have that level to continuously, consistently, you know, pull out those big forehands in the winners.
Just a bit of an update from my side. Rublev has just broken back for 2-all. Really good game from Rublev. Just forced the point, and took it to Draper, and now he's in full flow, hitting a return and a forehand that Draper can't really control. He's looking a little happier now. Rublev, 15 love.
What was the first set? I think it was Owen who had put a tweet up saying, you know, Jack Draper's backhand was a little bit leaky. I think
I missed the first set, so I started watching the second. So I'm taking everyone, but Jake seemed to think that there's something similar. But Draper turned it on in set 2, and he's just past Rublev at the net with a great dipping half volley that Rublev couldn't run down. And that's 15-all. So I'd say Draper is probably playing better, but I didn't see it to confirm it with my own eyes.
Well, in my match, Arnaldi's actually, and this is what I'm saying about this guy, he's a fighter because he was breakpoint down. You know, the pressure was on, and he pulled out a nice decent volley. Probably Alcaraz will be a little bit frustrated that with what he did with the forehand. And he's just served a second serve ace, and he's just basically held his serve. So 4-all. Alcaraz, at some point at the ground, the previous point, you know, as in, you know, why did I hit that shot? I don't think he was happy with where his feet was, or there's something that he just wasn't too pleased about. 4-all. The guy seems pumped. This Arnaldi, he's still fist bumping, not being like animated in a negative way. He's just all about positivity. And you know, he still thinks. I firmly believe this guy just by looking at him. He basically believes he can still, you know, do what I don't know. Has Alcaraz ever lost a match from 2 sets to love up? I don't.
No. I think the only 5-set match he's ever lost was Matteo Berrettini in Australia. 2022.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's ever lost another 5-set match. So a match that's gone 5. So and then he was 2 sets down. That was like attempted a comeback.
Yeah,
in that match.
I think you're right. I mean, I know that Ghost will be thinking we're trying to look. We're not trying to pick fault out of Carlos Alcaraz because it's very hard to fault the guy. But you know, we're sometimes got to try and bring, you know, discussion points to the table as if there, you know, if there's any weaknesses in this guy's game. And I think that's all we're kind of saying, that maybe you know, the focus now and again lapses, like you guys are saying. Jake said the same. Ghost is making the point. He's had 63 matches, 90%, and a bunch of titles. Jack Draper has played 23 and won 6%, and no titles.
Oh yeah, much more impressive season than Carlos Alcaraz. Look, Carlos Alcaraz is an amazing tennis player, and I don't. This is like us nitpicking, really.
I know, you're right. That's a good term for it. Yeah,
it's massively nitpicking. Like, the fact is that like, and we've seen, like, Alcaraz is not the only person. I'm pretty sure Roger Federer got bored a couple of times. No, I've definitely seen matches where Roger Federer has got bored and just starts messing around and hitting shots didn't need to, and it happens. All top players doing it. So this is not an Alcaraz thing specifically, and I think he's young enough that it makes sense. But I don't know. It was just one of those things. Like, hang on, is there a set that he should have lost? And when I actually really think about it, no, every set I've seen someone take against Alcaraz has been earned. Yeah. I'm thinking Evans a couple of days ago, Jarry at Wimbledon, Berrettini at Wimbledon. It's pretty hard not to. The guy, this guy might drop games if he's lapsed in concentration, but he won't drop sets. I think that's. I think it's a reasonable thing to do. But yeah, Carlos Alcaraz is an incredible player, and I'm going to enjoy watching him for years. What's he done now?
So Arnaldi, the previous point, Arnaldi had taken it through him, and basically was 15-30 up. And Alcaraz has just played. We've seen it so many times. It's just the +1, an absolutely late drop of the racket to make it a drop shot, and it's just like pretty much drop dead. So much so that Arnaldi on the stretch has ended up on the ground. But all good, no injury or no worries or concerns. They're both kind of smiling, and that's what I was saying earlier on as well. It's almost as if he's giving him the thumbs up, Arnaldi to Alcaraz, but it's almost as if both players are just certainly Arnaldi is definitely out there and enjoying it and not getting overawed by the occasion. So I think a lot more people in who've been watching this tonight will probably be watching Arnaldi matches in the future and keeping an eye out for him, because I think he certainly, I'll be one of them in terms of I've been impressed. I haven't watched too much of Arnaldi in the past, to be honest. I think I did watch the Casper Ruud match. I think he beat him in Madrid, and I think I do remember watching that. But yeah, this is the first time I properly sat down, obviously for a longer form match, and I hope it comes across. I've been totally impressed as Alcaraz not serve volleys, but eventually decides to come in, and he puts away a volley, and he's 5-4 in front, and you wouldn't be absolutely shocked to, after all this chat of him lapsing and whatnot, if he goes and breaks serve in the very next game and basically shuts me up, especially me.
Yeah, absolutely. Arnaldi, I've still yet to see him, watch him play, and I was actually going to ask you, what is your impression of him and his game? Yep. Sounds like he's going to give us a lot of entertainment for years to come. He's going to be someone that is going to take it to anyone he plays, regardless of their ranking. Interestingly, I've just looked him up because I know he was in the Next Gen finals last year. I'm just having a look to see how he did in that, and he came bottom of his group. Didn't win any matches, although 2 of them did go 5. He was in the same group as Brandon Nakashima, Hiri Lehechka, and another Italian called Francesco Passaro. Yeah,
right, okay. I mean, I think what I've been impressed with is he's got a decent serve in terms of when he can get it firing. I think the second serve still has a lot of work to be done, because a couple of times, Carlos as well is absolutely been like stepping up and trying to take it early and then coming in while Matteo's on the stretch. So second serve needs a lot of work. I think he does have, like I mentioned, I think he's got the forehand's better than the backhand. No question of that. And the forehand, the forehand can turn rallies around. He looks quite a pacey player as well. Decent defence. So yeah, there's all the markings of there. I don't think there's anything. I mean, I don't want to disparage. The guy's 22 years old. I don't think there's a Grand Slam champion or anything in there. But I mean, I may be proved wrong. But I think, like you say, I think he'll be one of these players who'll be. I think he's about to go into the top 50 in the live rankings, and he's basically progressed pretty pretty nicely through his career. I was reading it out earlier. He hit the top 1,000 in November 2020, the top 500 in September 21, the top 200 in August 22, the top 100 in May 2023. He's at a career high 61 at the moment, and we will move to number 47 in the Pepperstone ATP Live ranking. So yeah, I feel a really decent guy.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
Just to say though, he's in big bother here. I think he's love 30 down. If the scoreboard will tick over, yep, he's love 30 down on his serve. He's just double faulted. The crowd are starting to sense that the end might be nigh for Matteo Arnaldi, and we can be safely accused of being a bit too harsh on Carlos Alcaraz, considering he's dropped serve once in the whole match. He tries to run around a net cord to get it onto his forehand. And has that caught the line? It has caught the line. He has 3 match points. Arnaldi had come into the net. Carlos Alcaraz cross-court forehand, and it's plumb on the line. And you can see the New York crowd. Although they may have wanted it to go a little bit longer, and some of them were going on the Arnaldi side, you could tell a little earlier. I think they're all now wanting to see Carlos finish this off now. So 3 match points. Arnaldi gets the first serve in, totally mishits the +1. So Alcaraz block returns at Arnaldi, totally mishits it. He's still smiling, even though Carlos Alcaraz has just won the match 6-3, 6-3, 6-4. Lost his serve once. We were talking about lapses. Probably wasn't his sizzling best tennis tonight, and maybe he's keeping that in reserve for later matches. But he'll be very happy to get that one done in straight sets in just about the 2-hour mark as he applauds. Yeah, 1 hour 57. So he's applauding the New York crowd, who is now through to the quarterfinals.
We know he absolutely loves it there. And I've backed him to win the tournament.
Right. Okay.
I'm still feeling pretty good about that. I wait to see how he does in his next round, where I think he's playing.
It's Zverev or Sinner, isn't it?
I think tonight, yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, everyone's kind of talked up this whole. Before I go, everyone's talked about this Sinner Alcaraz potential. Is there any argument for saying that Zverev could pose Alcaraz like a bigger problem than Sinner would? He's beat him in the French before. I know that was a year ago. But it was if I remember correctly, it was a fairly kind of one-sided affair, was it? Or am I getting that? Was it 4 sets? In
that 2022.
Yeah, just the round before the injury. I just wondered if there was any discussion to be had that if Zverev was to beat Sinner, would he pose a bigger problem to Alcaraz than Sinner would?
Not on a fast court. On clay, yes, Zverev's game is very much that one against Alcaraz. On a faster court, where we've seen them play on faster courts before, Alcaraz has had the advantage in the matchup. I mean, before that quarterfinal, Alcaraz destroyed Zverev in the Madrid final.
Yeah, of course, I remember. Right, okay, I'm overlooking that point. That's a great point.
Much faster conditions. So I think, to be honest, if we're looking for an exciting match, Sinner is the better option. And I'm still, everyone's kind of worried about, well, not worried. Everyone's thinking that Zverev might beat Sinner tonight because the matchup head to head is in Zverev's favor currently. But there's a lot of other factors, not least that Sinner is a much better player than when they last played 2 years ago. So I'm still confident that Sinner will probably get through that, maybe in 4. But I think we'll see Yannick Carlos again on the night session on Wednesday.
Yeah, I remember watching that one 12 months ago, and yeah, it was pretty epic stuff. It was definitely one of my.
The ironic thing is that I probably could have woken up in time for the end of it if I'd known that I needed to wake up in time for the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun match. It was probably my match of the year last year, purely because, that way, especially being in the UK, you almost feel as if you've achieved something by managing to watch a late night match. You know what I mean? Because of the events. But anyway, I will. What's going on? And before I leave you, what's going on in Draper Rublev?
Draper held serve, had to say break point, and then Rublev got through his service game in about a minute. They're back out on court. Draper's leading 40-love, having just aced Rublev. They've just shown a stat saying his second serve percentage has dropped through the floor. So his second serve's 1%. So that's not going to help him. He's going to need to build some confidence with that. But at the minute, he seems to be getting through this game okay to try and level up at 4 games all.
Well, I will go because I need to get something to eat. It's been a long couple of days for me, Nick. So I will let you go. I don't know if you're going to hang about.
I am going to hang around. I'm going to take everyone through Draper versus Rublev.
Well, I'll be watching.
And then we'll see what happens. But I think there's some interesting conversations going on in the chat. I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll join in about 10-15 minutes and just see how you're getting on. All right.
All right. Brilliant. Well, have a good time, Tom. And
cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, I was having a look at the chat and seeing that there was some conversations around best season in history. Ghosty and Sean are right. It was John McEnroe in 1984. His win percentage was 96%. And I was just because funny enough, I was literally looking all this up today because I fancied it. Just like, I'll just look up stuff like this. I mean, I didn't get back to the 70s, so I don't think anyone, maybe Connors in 74, but I doubt it. But McEnroe in 84 won 96% of the matches that he played. The only maybe close contender was Roger Federer in 2005 and 2006, which probably arguably the more impressive season, given he won 3 majors instead of 2. And he got 95%. Just having a look and seeing. Oh wait, Connors in 74 might beat it actually, because that's just doing some quick maths here. I believe, because he was 93 for 4 that whole season. So that has to be percentage-wise the best. Yeah, 95.8. So probably about the same as McEnroe. In terms of that. So your most successful seasons in men's tennis history being Connors in 74, McEnroe in 84, Federer in 05 and 06. Probably more Federer 06 than in 05. But anyway, yes, the schedule has dropped, but we will get to that in a minute because we have advantage Andrei Rublev for break points in this set. So if you're tuning in expecting to find out what happened in Carlos Alcaraz and Matteo Arnaldi, Alcaraz has won. We're going to carry on because Draper versus Rublev is still worth watching. Draper serves but comes off the top of the net. It's another let cord. Those have been bothering him this match already. He's looking to reset. He broke in the opening game of this set, Draper, and then since then it's been all Rublev, who's sticking his tongue out, maybe in the direction he's going to try and return the ball, but it doesn't matter. Becker-esque as if on serve. Draper puts the first serve into the net, second serve. Rublev attacks on the backhand cross court. Draper puts the forehand up the line. Rublev scrambles it back. Backhand Draper over the middle of the net. Draper on the forehand looped up. Rublev on the backhand up the line. Brutal hitting from both. Forehand from Rublev. The backhand of Draper. They're going cross court. Draper goes up the line. Draper tries to move Rublev cross court. Off the top of the net and out for Rublev. The let cord helping Draper this time, and it's back to deuce. And he's going to be mighty relieved. He takes the towel. He's got the balls. He's getting ready to head back to serve at deuce. This is funny enough. This is the second time that Draper has been taken to deuce and had to save break points from this end of the court. Maybe I don't know what the conditions are like. I've got everything on mute. I can't see any obvious wind. Forehand from Draper. Short forehand from Rublev. Draper's going to try and punish it, but he's overhit it completely. Goes over the baseline, and it's advantage Rublev. He had that. He was teeing off for the winner, but he clearly went to the Nick Carter school of forehand because he pushed it way over the baseline. And wow, that's his 15th forehand unforced error of the match. It's advantage Rublev again. High drama on Louis Armstrong Stadium. Draper serves up the TB, misses it. And he just rolls his eyes, looks frustrated with himself. Backhand in play from Rublev. The forehand of Draper. Forehand Rublev up the line to the Draper forehand, which goes across court, looped up. Backhand up the line from Rublev on the attack. Draper scrambles it, can't do anything about it. Rublev raises his fist. He now has a decisive break. 5-3. He will be serving for this third set. Draper's hunched over now. And maybe the physicalities of playing Andrei Rublev are getting to him. We will probably talk about the schedule as I went. I'm going to have a look at the schedule and see what I can think of it. Forehand from Rublev to the backhand of Draper up the line. Backhand Rublev. Draper's trying to get his break back, trying to avoid dropping the set. Tries to go for the haymaker forehand, again misses it. Going inside out, 15-love Rublev. For those wondering, next up on Arthur Ashe Stadium is actually Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula in their doubles match against Marta Kostyuk and Elena Gabriela Rus. Unreturnable serve from Andrei Rublev, 30-love. Looking at what we've got, because of course there's tomorrow to look forward to as well. Janie is massively pumped for some Rublev rumbling. Some Russian success. 40-love, Andrei Rublev. He has now got 3 set points on his serve. Puts it, and that's it. Oh, that might have been nice, but it's gone long. It's gone long. And double faults. Oh, wait. No, it's not a double fault because the first serve must have been a let because he's going back to the same side. Second serve at set point. This time it goes in. Backhand from Draper. Forehand Rublev. But the backhand from Draper was really smart because it just so deep dropped right by Rublev's feet. And Rublev scoops the forehand up and it goes way wide. First set point saved, 40-15. And that's an ace from Rublev to finish the set. Game to Andrei Rublev. He leads 2-1. Does Draper have anything else in the tank for this match? Let's find out what Anastasia got up to yesterday.
Was hot but breezy, a beautiful day at the Open. Full day at Louis Armstrong started with Mukova versus Wang. Wang pushed Mukova to take this match to 3 sets, but Mukova stuck through the heat to become the first player to enter the quarterfinals. Didn't watch most of the Benchik versus Cristea match, but it seems like Cristea cruised through. Then it was back to Louis for the main event. The line for the general admission was long again, and I would like to address this a bit. I think seeing lines like this is good. It means a player or players are a big draw. It's great promotion for the sport that hasn't had much traction in the US for a while. Hopefully, it leads to more fans following the tour during other tournaments in the American swing. Anyway, back to the tennis. Riki tried, but Francis is really locked in this tournament and won in straight sets. Then onto my favorite match of the day. I am so glad I got to see Dominic Stricker play in person this tournament. Big server, and I love his playing style. After playing through qualifying and a lot of 5-set matches, this was a bit too much for him. And Taylor won the match, but can't wait to see more of him on tour. Got to see the most fun duo in mixed doubles, and then called it a night on day 7.
Anastasia clearly having a blast in New York yesterday, and hopefully she's having a wonderful time today as well. Looking forward to really enjoy her updates. it is now making me want to visit the US Open, genuinely seeing those videos. All right, well, we haven't got any play yet, so why don't we talk about the schedule for tomorrow being out? Because as we're saying, we've got we've got our matches out. So obviously all singles matches are going to be an Arthur Ashe. The day session will start with Jelena Ostapenko versus Coco Gauff. Interesting choice for the start of the night match, followed by Taylor Fritz and Novak Djokovic. Before the night session begins first with Sorana Castell against Karolina Muchova. Maybe they decided to give Muchova a evening session because she hasn't had a night session yet. She's only played in the early part of the day, and so needs time to and so she needs time to acclimatise if she goes through. Castell has obviously already played at night. But if Muchova is going to have a chance, then to have a reasonable, in the interest of fairness, if she was to win to get to a semi-final, which will be in a night session because both women's semi-finals are in a night session. Fritz and Djokovic in the day session after Ostapenko and Gauff, but the night session will conclude after Castell and Muchova with the All-American clash of Frances Tiafoe versus Ben Shelton. And I cannot think of a better match to put on at night because the atmosphere is going to be fantastic. We've got two absolute playmakers, big personalities, popular with the fans. I think that crowd's going to be 50-50. I think it's going to be an absolute wonderful watch. Tiafoe versus Shelton for a place in the US Open semi-finals. To confirm an American man will go through. I'm kind of glad the day session is what it is because I think it's still got some good ones. Obviously, Ostapenko versus Gauff is going to be the main highlight. But the main highlight for me, that's the one I'm most looking forward to, especially since I'm probably going to have to sleep through Tiafoe versus Shelton. But hey, who knows? Maybe I'll wake up and find it's still going. Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, Jane, that stadium is going to be loud. So that's going to be great. I don't know. Be specific. WTA. Yeah, share your thoughts on how things are going at the minute. We're watching Draper versus Rublev. Yeah, I think if you've got my my thoughts on okay, last 24 hours. What happened in the last 24 hours? Do you know what? I can't think, to be honest. Obviously, I'm winding you lot up. I guess I don't really know what to say because Ostapenko overpowered Iga Swiatek. I didn't expect that because I thought Ostapenko wasn't playing her best. But of course, Ostapenko plays her best against the best. So I should have accounted for that. She was always going to be a threat to Swiatek. And yeah, Swiatek needs to come up with a better game plan against the bigger hitters. But I think she's got the game to do it, to be honest. I just think that she needs to work out a way that she can be more patient on the forehand. But, you know, how she does it, that's up to her. She's smart enough to figure it out. She's going to need to for the rest of her career. But, you know, she's run Sabalenka close. Sabalenka doesn't necessarily hit it as hard as Ostapenko, but it's still good. And Rybakina, I think she'll figure her out. She almost did on clay. So, yes. With today's matches, I caught some of them. Vondrousova going through was not a surprise to me. Stearns fought well. I was impressed by how she made it competitive, but by the end, Vondrousova again is not losing to lower ranked players. She's playing well. She's playing really well in these last few months, and is 100% deserving of a top 10 place. Madison Keys beating Jessica Pegula is a little bit of a surprise. Not a massive surprise because we know how good Keys is. and I did look at that and go, that's a potential upset alert if Keys plays really well. What I wasn't expecting was that Pegula would lose her trademark consistency. She was definitely a bit flat today. Maybe it was partly because she couldn't live with the pace of Keys, but something was up, and Keys deservedly into a second consecutive Grand Slam quarterfinal, and she's low-key kind of got herself back in the mix on tour at the minute. So I'm curious to see how that Keys-Vondrousova match goes for the place in the US Open semi-finals. Tonight, Jabeur versus Young is probably going to be entertaining. That's after this Rublev match. And I'm interested to see how much Jabeur has left in the tank, because if she's got enough in the tank, she should beat Jung. But if she runs out of steam, Jung is going to eat her up. So we'll have to see. As for Sabalenka-Kasatkina, that's really going to depend on Arina Sabalenka. I remember seeing a match between them that was just double faults and breaks galore. I'm not expecting that again. Both are playing well. I think Kasatkina has the ability to frustrate Sabalenka by absorbing her pace, but we'll have to see how that goes. I think, don't rule out there being a some kind of shock. Yeah. Yeah, that's all good. I'm just seeing here Draper ranked lower than Brody. Is that live ranking? Because I'm pretty sure Draper's current ranking is still was top 40 last I looked. Maybe he has dropped. Hang on, let's have a look. Draper overview on the ATP site. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so he has dropped. Yeah, I'm not surprised. He was pretty injured, but yeah, the injuries have cost him a fair bit. But yeah, it's he should be back up to where he was in the live rankings. Let's have a look. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me with his problems really. Draper, let's have a look. Top 40 is where he should be. Yeah, he should be back up here. Let's have a look. He's not. Okay, no, he's not climbing. He seems to still be ranked outside the top 100. So clearly this run is not helping him that much. Weirdly. We're already at 1 game more in this 4th set, by the way, if you are interested. Yeah, Jack Draper, currently live ranking of 105. Okay, so he needs this win to get back in the top 100. Interesting. I thought he was top. He was higher than that. Maybe we've got another contender for Jakub Bobro Player of the Week after the US Open, given he's technically outside the top 100. Probably a little bit more established than some of the other names who are in contention, like Stricker and Goyo and Hijikata. 3rd round last year, yeah, I suppose, but that's still a decent increase. That's what, 90 extra? That's 90 extra points. I hadn't realized how many points from outside the tour he'd lost due to the problems he was having. I suppose actually, yeah, skipping Wimbledon really hurt him. Anyway, 15-all. We're into a rally in the middle of the court at the minute. Backhand from Draper cross court. Rublev goes up the line. Draper tries to run it down, gets it back in. Rublev's still attacking, goes back behind Draper. 15-30. He's looking for that break of serve. Yeah, Jake impressed by that Rublev forehand. Really brutal again. Just goes right. Draper tries to recover to the middle of the court. Rublev just goes back behind him. Draper can't correct. And yeah, 15-30. 15:30. Jack Draper is having to do all he can to keep up with this top 10 player. A man who many have said has top 10 potential. Goes for a second serve. Rublev goes in the attack with a forehand. Draper slices his backhand, goes way past Rublev. 30-all. Risky play, but great job, because that using the slice sort of carried it, enabled him to get underneath the ball and get that little bit of flatness and backspin to just hit through the court, meaning Rublev couldn't quite get to it in time, and meant it went deep enough to also make things difficult. Not a problem, Jane. That's what I'm here for. Hopefully you are enjoying this as well. Are you? If you're not able to watch, I'm more than happy to keep you updated. That's what we're here for. Great forehand from Rublev, who then goes up the line again. Slice from Draper. Back forehand from Rublev. He's got Draper on the defense. Rublev comes into the net, gets it off the net cord, gives Draper time to get to it, goes for the passing shot, misses it. In the tram line, 30-40. Rublev has break point. And Draper is, and Jake's mentioning Draper's physicality. He's definitely looking tired out there. He's obviously had a tough run through. There's Leon Smith applauding him. Obviously, Davis Cup captain looking at his options for who is going to be in the squad when in the group stages when they're held in Manchester in a few weeks. Draper serves out wide, backhand from Rublev. Draper comes into the net. Rublev can't pick it up. Great way to save break point. Smart move. Going into the net. That's going to maybe that's a way of shortening the points from Draper. He's definitely walking much slower back, trying to conserve energy. Quick wipe down of his face with the towel. Yeah, Janie, I completely agree. Draper's level, I was saying this with Tom earlier, like he's just taking us out of nowhere, really. Coming into this tournament with it's sort of no real warm-up, potentially bad, potentially injured, playing through it. He's done so well and exhibited genuine top 20 level. Forehand winning from Rublev to save game point. It just further exemplifies if he's healthy, he's a threat. Although maybe not necessarily to the very top players, but definitely in the mix to get himself in the mix. If he can stay healthy consistently, do not be surprised to see him seeded in a major, as unreturnable serve from Draper gives him advantage, giving him that much needed short point. He's trying to get to that change of ends as soon as he can. Oh, great get from Draper at the net, but something's happened. Maybe it was a let, maybe it was a fault. So not able to quite get there. Something came off the top of the net, maybe. Still advantage Draper. Serves into the net. Second serve. Goes middle of the court. Rublev struggles to get the backhand in play. Game Draper. Job done. Job done for Jack Draper to hold for 2-1. He was in danger of being on the path to losing. And we have a change of ends. So, obviously, great to still see so many of you still with us. Appreciate, hopefully you're not appreciate maybe that you might be wondering us to talk about the Carlos Alcaraz match from earlier. Alcaraz threw in straight sets. Alcaraz threw in straight sets. Not necessarily comfortably. He didn't need to play his best deal with Arnaldi. I think when Arnaldi broke back, he kind of woke up at one point in the third. But yeah, kind of result that Alcaraz maybe needed, especially if he's potentially got a tough quarterfinal against either Zverev or Sinner. I think maybe if we do a WTA match, but not, let's just keep focused on the ATP for now. But for those who may be new to the channel, if you are new, like and subscribe. Generally, when I'm talking, it's generally about the WTA. But I love all tennis. But WTA is where you usually find me watching. Earlier, what usually find me watching something. I think what was it? There was a match on. I think everyone was like saying, "Oh, you got to watch this." And I was like, "Nope, I'm going to go and watch this Pegula Svitolina match." I can't remember what was on at the same time. So yeah, maybe when we start talking about Gilbert versus Jung a little bit later, because they are the match after this one. We will probably be doing a stream for that. Draper versus Rublev is what we have now on Louis Armstrong Stadium. In terms of the singles action, obviously there are doubles. There is doubles action going on. Actually, speaking of Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula, they've just started their match against Kostyuk and Ruse. They've got moved to the Arthur Ashe Stadium. We've got an all-seeded clash in the last 16 and the men's doubles on court 5 with Nice and Zielinski, the 9th seeds, looking to about 2 games away from beating Gonzalez and Roger Vassilant, the 7th seeds. And another men's doubles match that's going on. The top seeds, Wesley Koolhof and Nia Skupski, are currently underway against Lamons and Withrow, the 15th seeds. So currently a lot of seeds making it through to the last 16 across the board, really. By the way, you're probably wondering what's happening in the match that I'm supposed to be talking about, which is this singles match between Draper and Rublev. Well, Rublev has just held it to love in double quick time, and it's already Jack Draper's next service game. He's already under pressure 2-2, and I'm not entirely sure if Jack Draper has enough gas in the tank to get this set and extend this match. He might be able to have enough to grab the set. I don't see him carrying on for getting through a 5th. Shrihari, hello, or hello there, as I should say. It's very good to see you. Have you just turned on the match, mate? It's an interesting one, I think. What if you managed to catch any tennis today? Did you catch the Alcaraz match? It's for those of you who don't know, Shrihari is my co-host on the Popcorn Tennis podcast. I think we're definitely overdue an episode. We'll probably pick everything up after the US Open to discuss our thoughts on the US swing, and particularly whatever happens in the outcome of this tournament. Thank you. Thank you, yeah. Obviously Shrihari and Jethro as well. Both of them you may see on a stream at some point. Very knowledgeable tennis people. Right, Love 30. Jack Draper in trouble. Leon Smith trying to encourage his man. Great Britain certainly have a tough choice when it comes to the Davis Cup selection. Goes long or wide with that first serve. He's trying to go up the tee. Second serve, similar direction. Rublev attacks with the backhand. Winner, Love 40, 3 break points. Draper hardly moved for that. To be honest, even if he tried, there wasn't much point. There was a lot on that backhand. Rublev just went on the attack. And surely now this match feels inevitable if Rublev can break here. Draper misses the first serve. There's definitely a lot of lethargy to his body language right now. Goes out wide. Backhand in play from Rublev. Draper scoops up the forehand to keep it in play. Rublev on the attack on his forehand. Winner. He's broken 3-2 and he's striding back to his chair. Draper is trudging. He's removed his cap. I don't think he's done. I think you'll see at the end of the match. He's not injured. He's not going to retire. I wouldn't be surprised if Draper didn't get a game for the rest of this match, to be honest. Yeah, so largely Draper was 2-love up in the third. Yeah, Rublev turned on the afterburners. He came and battened down the hatches, and it's been clear since then that Draper's been kind of running out of gas. But Rublev broke back by forcing the point. Draper had a couple of really long service games, and yeah, just Rublev just made things. We just did Rublev. We just did Rublev things. Yeah. We definitely overdue an episode. So yeah, just if you go and find the Popcorn Tennis podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple or Spotify or wherever. And same as for Talking Tennis, because we also do podcasts here on Talking Tennis. You can either watch our weekly magazine shows where we cover the ATP and WTA on a weekly basis. I host the WTA weekly show. Our very knowledgeable friend Damien, who you've probably seen on some other commentaries, hosts the ATP edition. And not only can you watch those on YouTube, but if you can't watch, you can listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. So if you are new here, subscribe, and keep an eye out for all the content we've got coming, because we will be doing plenty of debriefs from each match. We've got the first serve that comes every day before the start of play at the US Open, where we'll wrap up everything that's happened the day before and look forward to the next day. That also goes up. There's also a great podcast to listen to. I listen to it when I'm at work, and absolutely brilliant time to look at it. But we'll also have plenty of commentaries. Obviously, we'll be covering you for the entire second week as we hit the quarterfinals. But we just need to confirm our final quarterfinals today. So we're into a rally on the Armstrong court at 3-2 Rublev. I need to just confirm. No, Rublev missed an inside-out forehand, going for a winner, 30-15. Jane saying the conditions are terrible. It's the humidity, isn't it? That the roof, I believe the roof's shut, so that's just increased the humidity in the stadium by a ridiculous amount. Yeah, I don't envy these players. I mean, to be honest, it looked like it's affecting some people. Yes, Jake. So if you follow Talking Tennis on Spotify, you can get some podcast action. So if you miss us live, you can always listen to us. Favorite ABBA song? That's hard. I remember when I was a lot younger liking the song "Does Your Mother Know?" That's I think that's quite a fun one. Obviously, yeah, I'm big. There isn't an ABBA song I don't like, to be honest, but I think I enjoyed listening to that one. I like the more kind of quirky, upbeat ones, maybe. Nick likes Boney M. Actually, I do. Actually, I do. Definitely had Rasputin stuck in my head a few times. Not ABBA Gold, yes, Trickery. That was a staple in my childhood. My mum playing that great passing shot from Jack Draper to get the opening point. He's trying to avoid just this match running away from him completely. But yeah, I've definitely had Rasputin stuck in my head a fair few times over recent weeks, not least because I saw an Instagram reel where they used that as the background song and just worked so well for what it was about. I'm not going to bother explaining it because you'll just think I'm weird. Mind you, you probably do that anyway, but maybe that's part of my charm. I don't know. But yeah, I'm always up for a bit of ABBA. Oh, Take a Chance. Yes, I love Take a Chance, Max. That's a good name. That's a good one. And actually, Fernando, yeah, it's probably one of my favorite ones of their slower ballads. Big forehand from Rublev, trying to go for the winner there, but he's missed it completely. It's 40 love. Sorry, I'm just. I think my neighbour's dog's scratching the wall. I'm not sure. They're just showing the winner count at the minute. Oh, it was a winner from Rublev. So that was his 40th win of the match. Draper's hit 38 winners. So second serve from Draper, backhand play from Rublev, forehand Draper, cross court. Rublev can't do anything about it, and it's 40-15. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure I've listened to much Stevie Wonder, to be honest, Shahiri. I'll have to check my back catalogue. Yeah, ABBA has a virtual concert register. Yeah, I think I know some people who've gone to that. I wouldn't say I'm a super fan, but I definitely enjoy their music. Backhand in play from Rublev, backhand up line from Draper, backhand cross court Rublev. Draper can't write it down. You can definitely see he's really sluggish at the minute. 40-30. Rublev just needs to move Draper around. Maybe we should get some ABBA on in the stadium. That should that might perk Draper up a little bit. We know that a bit of Whitney Houston gets Dominic Stricker motivated. Unreturnable serve from Jack Draper. Game 4-3, change of ends. He keeps himself in contention. Well, keeps himself in the conversation in this set. Obviously, still a breakdown. We'll have to see where this goes. But yeah, any other sort of songs? You're like, oh yeah, yeah, exactly, Max. Actually, yeah, is a if you had the opportunity to like play a tennis match, or like say, when you go and next play tennis, there's a sound system on the court you're playing in a stadium in your regularly scheduled thing. You're not playing a pro, you're playing whoever you would usually play, maybe at your club, and someone gave you walk-on music. What would your walk-on music be? That'd be interesting. I think I would probably go for something like an Imagine Dragons song, which I know kind of doesn't quite fit my sort of perky upbeat nature, but it's kind of the most poppy intimidation I can think of. Maybe Radioactive. Just have that. I think that would just get me pumped and maybe get the zero spectators pumped. Because I think if anyone paid money to watch me play tennis, they'd probably ask for their money back after the first point. Depending on depending on whether I'm serving first or not. If I can get a return in, I might give you some entertainment. Sure, he was saying his would be Hand of Doom by Black Sabbath. That would definitely be intimidating. Good suggestion, Jane. Okay. That's clearly I mean that would definitely get the party going, but if that's a subliminal message of please don't be mean to me, clearly you are underrating yourself as a tennis player. They love Andrei Rublev in this 4-3 game. 30 love on my screen. It's 40 love on yours. Unreturnable serve. That's why 40 love Andrei Rublev. I do think we're missing a trick with not having walk-on songs for tennis players, to be honest, in general. Oh, Jake, is that your Imagine Dragons? Is that your Imagine Dragons song, Believe It? Or is that a different song? Oh, yeah. Not necessarily one of their best songs, to be honest. I'm very picky. Anyway, big fault backhand from Rublev. He's trying to get this double break and get this done now. Love 15. Love 15. Jane, are you worried about getting hurt as a ball kid? It's a risky game. Draper's gone wide with the with his backhand, and yeah, love 30. 2 points away from defeat. 2 hours 37 on the clock. Goes up the middle. Unreturned. 15:30. Trying to climb his way out. I think if Iga Swiatek had walk-on music, I mean, last year it should have been Unstoppable by Sia. Not sure that's the case now. I know she would probably go at some kind of Led Zeppelin track. But I don't know which one. Forehand from Draper. Rublev can't get it. 30 all. I'd be interested to know what I'm just looking at. Oh yeah, Smoke on the Water. Interesting choice. Yeah, we're definitely going for like the more kind of rocky sounds. 30 all. Draper on yeah, Jake's just singing Imagine Dragons now. Double fault from Draper. Match point for Andrei Rublev. Might not get to know what our producer's choice for walk-on song would be. Although maybe it'd be something from the 80s. Match point. Body serve from Draper. Goes for the forehand. Rublev runs it down. Overhits it. Deuce. Draper exhales. Trying to give himself energy to keep going. He knows he got a lucky escape there. Serves out wide. Rublev gets the back into play. It's really short from Draper. Rublev comes in to finish it. Forehand winner. Advantage to the Russian for a place in another US Open quarter final. I think this would be his fourth, I want to say, if I've got this right. But Draper serves, gets the forehand in play. Rublev tries to run it down, puts it in the net. Great play from Draper, just pushing Rublev out of court. And then he didn't have a lot of power on that forehand. You could tell, like, he just either he was trying to make it or he couldn't hit a massive forehand. Maybe he's physically struggling to generate the power, but it was still far enough away from Rublev that he could, even the speedy Russian couldn't run it down. Ace from Draper. And now it's game point. Yeah, this would be Rublev's fourth quarterfinal at the US Open, his most successful Grand Slam. It was his first quarterfinal back in 2017. First a Grand Slam quarterfinal. Came back in 2020. That was his second. And then 2022, last year, where he lost to Francis Tiafoe. Backhand from Rublev, forehand. Draper, Rublev can't get it. And Draper walks to his chair, having saved 2 match points, and is forcing Andrei Rublev to serve at 5-4. So yeah, well done. Well done. And we're in a change of ends, which means a commercial break for my TV provider. So yeah, we'll have to we'll have to see what's going on. So yeah, I'm not convinced Draper's going to come back, but you never know. Rublev might have a bit of a lapse, might give Draper some energy. But we'll see. I'm interested to see how Rublev does. Obviously, it's a fourth US Open quarterfinal. Dimonor and Medvedev would be his opponent, and we know he has matchup problems with Medvedev. The only time he's really beaten Medvedev, a television camera had to get involved. Okay, interesting choices for walk-on songs from Jake, either Titanium or Unstoppable, which I'm pretty sure Sia was involved in both. So yeah, I mean, Unstoppable's obviously, about winning everything. Being indestructible, unstoppable. That would work. That would get everyone pumped up. Yeah, tennis and walk-on songs. This should happen. I would love to know what Daniel Medvedev's choice is, because you would know it'd be just so left field. Here we go. Rublev, second serve. Draper into play. Backhand Rublev up the line. Draper trading backhands. They're going up to the Draper backhand wing, to the Rublev backhand wing. Backhand Draper cross court to the Rublev forehand on the attack. Draper goes back to the Rublev forehand. Still trading cross court with Rublev going long. Love 15. Draper's now decide, and looks like Draper's just upping the energy a little bit, just trying to throw what he's got at Rublev. And so far, he's just running with Rublev, putting enough pace on it to make it challenging enough, and maybe wait for Rublev to break down. But that's an unreturnable serve from Rublev. 15 all. 15 all and the Russian is now 3 points away. He's 100% first serves won in this set, and continues that record with an unreturnable serve, 30-15. That could have been an ace if Draper hadn't just got a racket on it. It was so far out wide. And it's been a good performance from Rublev this set, just not under threat. Hasn't really been under threat on serve since he got broken right at the start of the third set. And it's 40-15 for Rublev. And he's stepping up. He's got 2 more match points. He couldn't convert 2 in the previous game on the Draper serve. Where are we going to be here? Rublev serves up the middle. Draper scoops it up. It's out. No. Rublev left it. Looks really sheepish. That was a return that he thought was going out, but it just clipped the line. And his 100% first serve record in this set has now gone. 4th match point. 4th match point. First serve into the net. Goes out wide. Back forehand from Draper on the attack. Forehand cross court from Rublev. Draper has to try and run it down. That just about lands in. Rublev goes on the attack. Inside out forehand. Draper can't do anything with it. And Rublev raises his arms aloft with a beaming smile. And he is into a 4th US Open quarterfinal. He is going to be ecstatic. And he will either play Daniel Medvedev or Alex de Minaur. I suspect he prefer to play de Minaur. But who knows? Maybe Rublev can finally do something special. And it's interesting with Rublev because he's becoming a player that whilst we think of him as being a stalwart on tour and getting in wins on tour and playing loads of events, getting a few titles, he's increasingly becoming a player that you can count on to come through during slams. I can't remember the last time he had an early exit off the top of my head. Hello, John.
Hey, how are you?
I mean, I'm good. That was an interesting match. Draper, I thought, acquitted himself pretty well. On the whole, he did run out of gas, but
I think the narratives were building beforehand, and they did end up playing out. Sometimes we kind of fit the narrative around our idea, or the other way around. But the popular opinion, of which I shared, was that if this was to go longish, i.e. 4, but especially 5 sets, it was almost certainly going to go the way of Andrei Rublev. Draper not winning the first set was a big one. And, a come from behind, even for 1 set down or certainly 2 sets down was never likely. I mean, Rublev is rightfully praised for his physicality and his ability to keep going and fitness. Jack Draper, understandably, it's something that we highlight. It will come. Tennis is a funny one in that we see a lot in tennis. It's actually younger players that sometimes struggle more than older players physically, right? I mean, we see Novak, for example, and yet we look at somebody such as Carlos is in better shape now than he was probably 1 or 2 years ago, even maybe with Novak as well in his late teens and early 20s. So, yeah, any thoughts you can add to that match and Jack Draper's run as a whole before we switch to Rublev and maybe bigging him up?
Yeah, I think Draper acquitted himself well this US Open. I'm really surprised he's not going to be top 100. That will probably change soon. I think, yeah, he's definitely got a lot to it. He did challenge Rublev for as much as he could, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else he can pull off, particularly in Australia and Wimbledon, because he does seem to like to turn up for slams. So we'll see.
Do you think he might do better on hard courts in his career than grass, or how do you see that?
No, he's pretty good on grass. I think his breakout was on grass. He's got the game for it. Like, it's very big. It's very flat. So I don't see why he shouldn't be good on grass. Better on hard court? No, I think it'll be about the same. And he's a Brit, so he's going to be carried by the crowd wherever he plays.
I'm just creating the Onshaba Qinwen Zheng match. I will be doing it. You're more than welcome to join me for as long as you can stay, Nick. Whether that be 5 minutes or 2 hours.
I can stay awake.
Pardon?
As long as I can stay awake.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, yeah, as I say, whether it's coming on after this match, right?
Yes, so they are on after this match, so there will probably be some downtime whilst the players come off, and the next ones come on, and I would imagine we're looking at sort of maybe 20 minutes before it gets started.
Yeah, that's fine.
Rublev's had a on-court interview.
Been doing some bits and pieces. I've even just put a bit of audio together, previewing Taylor Fritz against Novak Djokovic for the 8th time. Can you, off the top of your head, do you know their head-to-head?
I believe it's 7-0.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe it's 7-0.
Yeah. I knew that. I was pretty sure it was all wins for Novak. I didn't realize that they'd met that many times, actually.
Ghost is asking if Dimonor has ever beaten Medvedev, who obviously playing tonight. And the answer is yes, because Dimonor beat him in Cincinnati.
Quite recently, yeah.
Yeah. So that one's not a slam dunk. That's going to be...
it's not, but I have to say that
I don't think it's going to be straight sets either way.
I'm just trying to think. The men's matches today. What have we? Have we got 1 or 2 to go? We've got obviously.
We've still got obviously Sinner and Zverev.
Sinner Zverev was the most difficult to call. The other 3, I was reasonably confident on. I said. By the way, we'll come to the women in a second, which I found a lot more tricky. But the men's matches, these first 3, I was okay with calling them in terms of Alcaraz in straight sets. I went Rublev in 4. And I'm also going for Medvedev in something around about 4 sets. I think there is a matchup issue, but I think Medvedev 5 sets, hardcore, US Open. Medvedev's peak is still, top 2 or 3 in the world on this surface. He can live with Novak on this surface, and very few apart from him and Carlos can, I think. So, yeah, it's more because of that than anything else. But then I did a similar thing last night with a certain former world number 1, in that I thought, I know the matchup is tricky. I know the history. I know what Ostapenko is capable of, but I'm still going for the better player. And it didn't work out, of course.
I made the same mistake. at some point, I do believe Iga will one day win a match against Ostapenko, which is wasn't last night, because Ostapenko played better last night than she had in their previous 3 matches, which maybe shouldn't have been a surprise. So, yeah, it is what it is. I think a lot of people were cautiously optimistic, cautiously predicting an Iga win, but it wasn't going to be straightforward.
Yeah, it was like that. She got broken immediately in the first game, Iga. And I thought, okay, that's good in a way, because it's like suggesting this match is going to be competitive. If Iga had raced into a 3 or 4 love lead, it'd have been like, oh, okay. Despite the head-to-head, the gap in the last match to this match, i.e. sort of 19, 20 months or whatever it is since that last defeat in Dubai, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that Dubai match in 2022 was super close as well. I think it was a 7-5 third set. I think Ostapenko did a comeback in that one.
But it's also sort of pre-world number 1 Iga, and it sort of was understandably...
It's weird bookend.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, right.
It started the journey to number 1 and the domination that followed. And it seems weirdly fitting that she was to end it, really.
Yeah, very much so. Talking of ending it, shall we end this stream? And I'll play a bit of music and a few other bits and pieces, and I'll see you in about 10 or 15 minutes.
No, I know we couldn't get the rights for that. Yeah, I'll see you in 10, 15 minutes. Let's take a break.
Cool. All right, then I'll speak to you soon. I'll wrap this up so you can just say I'll see you in 10 or 15 minutes. All right?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm just creating the next show, basically, which is coming up, as I said, in about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm just creating it right now, which is Ons Jabeur up against Qinwen Zheng for a spot in the quarterfinals. Potentially, of course, definitely playing either Kasatkina or Sabalenka in that quarterfinal. Of course, Jabeur played Sabalenka recently at Wimbledon, quite deep in that tournament, in the semifinals, I believe. So that may be a repeat, but a bit of tennis to be played before now and then. And all of it will be here on Talking Tennis. So that's pretty fun, right? Make sure you hit the like button on this stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. I will now share a link to the Ons Jabeur Qinwen Zheng match. I will place that now in the chat, so you can join us for Jabeur against Zheng. And yeah, that should be pretty cool. I'm going to put that in the live chat right now. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. There it is in the live chat. So come and join us over on Talking Tennis 3 or whatever it is. I think it's our third watch along for the day that we've had. I began it, of course, with Peyton Stearns' 3-set match against Vondrousova, with the Wimbledon champion emerging the winner there. And we've just had this one, which I'm now bringing to a close. And we'll see you over on the other side for the Qinwen Zheng match, I hope. Should be a lot of fun. So speak to you very, very soon. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.